So I want to welcome you all to this month's edition of the Amazon Fast Track Coaching Advanced Monthly Tactics for Growing Your Amazon Business. I will soon be editing this first slide because I've decided that we're going to kind of widen the umbrella a bit and really talk about e-commerce in general, because I know most of you are now diversifying into your own Shopify sites, and I've been dying to be teaching a Shopify segment. All of our really cool ninja tweaks and funnels and models that we're doing with our Shopify store as well, including like free with shipping kind of things to build our own list and all kinds of cool things like upselling and monthly continuity, all tied into the physical product type of space, stuff that we've been kind of working on behind the scenes and thinking about. But I think it's about time. You know, Shopify has kind of hit critical mass with a lot of my fast trackers. You guys have been in this space long enough that I would say the majority of you have a Shopify store. And even if you don't, you will want to have one in the very near future. So that's why we want to start teaching a Shopify segment most months. We're not going to do it this month, but we will probably start next month. I'm super excited about that because there's a lot of unbelievable things that you can and should be doing, even with one product on your Shopify store, that is impossible with Amazon. You know, I've been saying this for quite a while that, you know, if your entire business is built and predicated on Amazon, that's a very high-risk model because it's a business built on sand, right? It's like building a sandcastle. You're just one wave away from being wiped out. So Amazon, you know, in truth, should be looked at as one amazing launching channel, but it sure as hell shouldn't be our only channel, right? So we want to be, you know, diversifying and building a real e-commerce company. See, remember, big picture, my goal, this may not be your goal, but my goal is to ultimately build 3 very large, well-known consumer brands that we can be bought out for many, many millions of dollars. That's my end game. So as we're kind of developing our business, that's always in the back of my mind. You know, that's why you see me develop my own tools sometimes. You know, we're building assets throughout, and trust me, you know, only somebody very, you know, inexperienced with a lot of money would buy a business that was solely predicated on Amazon. There's very few fools that would do that, right? Because at any one point in time, Amazon can just kind of shut us off, right? However, the number of companies that would purchase your e-commerce business that had a thriving email list and your own e-commerce site, there's a ton of companies that would do that. And I'll tell you why. Not so that they can get rich off of your efforts, but so that they look at the acquisition of a company like ours as what? As distribution. So like, in other words, you know, one of the best tactics used by large companies is growth by acquisition. So let's say that you wanted to all of a sudden get into, I don't know, let's say a doctor's offices with a certain type of knee brace. So let's say that you're selling knee braces on Amazon, and you want to be able to get wide distribution in hospitals and the doctor's offices. Well, there's 2 paths you can take. And by the way, I'm still on this first slide. There's 2 paths you can take, right? You can try to, you know, push a boulder uphill with your nose and by yourself or with a couple people cold call and use direct mail and try to get it onesie twosie into doctor's offices. Or you can buy a freaking company that already sells a related product to thousands of doctors' offices, and you just plug in your product into that distribution channel. And so while it's not an option for us because we're small potatoes and we don't have many millions of dollars to grow by acquisition, that is exactly how large companies think. It's far easier for them to throw money at a marketing problem via, you know, growth by acquisition. So anyway, it's a long way of saying we're going to have a very interesting fall. We're going to have a little change up in our focus in Fast Track because the time is right. Very pumped about that. Now, lions and tigers and TOS changes, oh my. How scared should we be about the Amazon terms of service changes? Well, you know me. You know, if I want to have an act in frustration and eye rolling, I will go to the ASM forums and I'll read what people post. And whenever there's any little bump in the road, it is hysterical to me how people flip out. They just can't deal with change. It's so funny to me. So look, since we last talked, Amazon updated their terms of service. And it basically said, hey, you know what? If you're trying to manipulate rank by doing excessive giveaways, we have the right to ban you from our platform, okay? And this basically scared people from doing giveaways. But guys, this is an amazing opportunity for us. Why? Because it gives us in Fast Track a massive advantage over everyone else, in ASM who doesn't have this sort of training, this psychology, the marketing tactics. So we have a huge opportunity. We are actually thinking this is phenomenal news because it's going to shake out the masses, right? Who can't mentally tolerate any bumps in a road and just freak out and quit. I love when people quit. I say, good for them. Quit makes it easier for us, right? So I want to kick off our webinar going over some thoughts and tactics about the Amazon terms of service change and why you should not be scared. In fact, you should look at this as a phenomenal competitive advantage that we in Fast Track have. So first of all, do you guys remember this image? You're sick of this image, right? But there's a reason why I show this image. Amazon's always going to be changing and throwing us curveballs. It's not weird, it is the norm. So just get used to it. It's fine. It's called life. Success is not a straight upward curve, as you guys know. It's about being resourceful, right? Course corrections, little bumps in the road, and having the flexibility to adapt. There's going to be obstacles that boom, that you never saw coming, and you have a choice. You can weep, cry, and rip your hair out and say life isn't fair and this business sucks and this isn't as easy as they made it sound when I bought ASM. I agree with all that. But I also agree that if you have the ability to walk around the obstacle, climb over it, or dig a tunnel under it, and by the way, it's not all that much more effort to just overcome an obstacle. It really isn't. It might be a little frustrating, but it's not life-threatening, right? Then you're going to be successful. So the Amazon terms of service is a great example of this success image. Some will crumble and give up. I always say, fantastic, wah for them, right? It just makes success easier for us. I love it when people give up. And others will look at this change unemotionally, as we in Fast Track do, and view this as an opportunity to modify our winning strategy. Now, here's what the pundits are saying. Let's see what my friend Ezra says. He says, about the terms of service change. We've slowed down our velocity a bit, but we're still running campaigns. The terms are fairly vague. It could be protection on their part. And I absolutely agree, by the way. They know what all the sellers are doing. They subscribe to all the tools, and they're aware of the ways people are manipulating the rankings and gaming the algorithm. Same as the Google days. Google knew what was up. These new changes to the TOS give them license to come in and clean out anyone they believe is too aggressively manipulating the system. They say no marketing for manipulating rankings, and they know that every seller's goal is to rank #1. So it's protection on their part for the eventual cleanup of crappy products, etc. And I love what he says. If your only marketing strategy is giveaway campaigns, then you're hosed anyway. Launches, blasts, discounts have their place and are good, and you should have other means of driving traffic and sales as well. As we say in Fast Track, you got to always be building assets. And he also says, blah, 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 down at the bottom. So campaign to generate email leads for a couple bucks each that has a 30, 90-day follow-up sequence to turn that lead into a buyer on Amazon and on Shopify. He's saying that that really should be the core business model, and I agree. Jason Fladlin, my business partner, says, this policy change is mainly addressing those who started to use third-party tools that would, whether legitimately or not, be able to order you up any number of purchases and reviews in any given time. Most often the purchases were fake, and often they were in multiple hundreds, if not thousands. Most often it was to a pool of buyers that was incestuous, meaning that every product magically had the exact same buyers purchase it. That made it too obvious to ignore, unlike, say, a deal club where you home grow your own buyers and you probably are giving away 1,000 units. Now, by the way, who's the only guy in the industry that has been pounding the tables for months saying do not use those freaking public review clubs. Me, for a reason, giant footprint. Amazon could easily go in there, pose as a user, see all of the Amazon vendors using those platforms because they're public, they're not private. I've always said you have to, you can and should be building your own very private, very underneath the radar, your own review club. Never, ever, ever have I ever said, in fact, I warned about it, is going to these giant public review clubs such as Snagshot, which is owned by the single largest email tool in the industry, Feedback Genius, and I believe Snagshot is what prompted Amazon to finally put their foot down, because they were sending out press releases about Snagshot. They were saying how it's going to help you rank on Amazon. And I was just shaking my head going, oh, why are you doing this, right? I mean, remember, we were one of the innovators. We were the first people that I know of that ever talked about even having a review club. And look at how all these companies copied me. It's crazy, right? I guess it's flattering, but so let's hear from the pundit that you're paying money to every month, Ben Cummings. And here's what I have to say about this. Okay, you know, if you're reading between the lines of all this, and I've read what everyone has written about it, and the bottom line is that we're all speculating, you know, because we don't own Amazon. But if you trust my judgment, here's what I think is really going on. Number one, if you think about what was the number one thing that made Amazon different from the competitors and what they pioneered in e-commerce, it's what? Reviews, trusted reviews for products. If you ask people, hey, what do you like about Amazon? They say they have every product imaginable and they have reviews that comment on if the products are good or not. That's kind of the crux of their entire business model, right? Diversity of products and then community-generated content in the form of reviews that could be trusted. So think about it from their point of view. If all of a sudden you're using a public review club like Snagshot and you're moving 500 units and 490 of those 500 people are leaving you 5-star reviews, what is, in the eyes of Amazon, is that useful for their platform? No, no. So Amazon perceives all these public review clubs as spam review generators, as spam reviews. Amazon hates spam reviews, okay? So in the eyes of Amazon, when a huge influx of unnatural and incentivized 5-star reviews are pouring in from a review club, and by the way, we have a large review club that's private, so we can no longer do this. We can no longer, I mean, I could easily, in a heartbeat, generate 300 like reviews for a brand new listing, okay? I actually have a problem now. I have to untrain my review club and say, hey, you don't even have to leave a review, okay? Because here's what I believe is happening. I believe that when they get an unnatural, huge influx of reviews, and largely 5-star reviews pouring in, all of a sudden, that's outside the norm of whatever their standard distribution model that they've come up with. It'd be fairly easy to code all this. I see all of a sudden that that's going to trigger the alarm bells. And they see this huge influx of reviews as spam or fake reviews. I mean, even though in our view, or our opinion, they're not spam or fake reviews at all. These are purchasers, but let's just be blunt. These are purchasers that got it for dirt cheap, and the kind of unspoken, implied reciprocity going on is that, hey, we want a good review, right? I mean, let's just be blunt. They're all real reviews. They're not fake reviews by any stretch. However, spam reviews, well, Amazon, that's how they look at them now, in my opinion. And this didn't come about because of guys like me doing ethical, private, underneath the radar review clubs. This 100% came about due to the big review clubs like Snagshot, like AMZ Trackers, and some others. Okay, so I just, it's one of those things. It's like, guys, don't be greedy. Fly underneath the radar. Don't have a giant public review club, and bam, Amazon finally had to put its foot down because they were making Amazon look foolish. Second, and this is what I believe they hate even more than an influx of reviews, are fake buys. Meaning, what was happening were there were outsourcers that people were hiring that had thousands of different Amazon accounts. They would set their listing to FBM, not FBA. See, with FBA, you have to send in like inventory. With FBM, it is vendor fulfilled on their own. So how does Amazon know if you ever actually fulfilled an order? So So check this out. So what these guys would do to blatantly, manipulate Amazon is they'd have whatever 500 fake buys to an FBM listing. They would never actually ship a product out. They'd put in fake tracking number, and then they'd flip the listing to FBA, and these people would be leaving all kinds of fake reviews along with fake tracking numbers. It was just, that's just blatantly fraud when you're leaving fake reviews, and it's just really gaming the system in a way that I can understand Amazon's point of view. It's not going to help their platform at all. It's not going to help the user experience. Okay, so if I had to summarize what's going on, it is this. Number one, the sky is not falling. If you're in fast track, just the opposite, because we're going to be going pedal to the metal with our own in-house innovations that, of course, I'm going to be teaching you. Pretty much we're all in agreement that Amazon is primarily going after the fake FBM buys and the very large public review clubs that require people to leave only positive reviews for a product. The red flag for Amazon, again, this is my opinion, are mass numbers of people leaving reviews in an unusually short time frame and hammering one keyword in a super URL. That's just a huge, obvious to find footprint. By the way, Amazon is not banning giveaways at all, and they're not banning discounts. If Amazon did want to ban giveaways and discounts, they would simply disable the ability for everyone on their platform to create giveaway coupons. They've not done that. They just don't want it used in blatant excess. Okay, so how do we do launches now? All right, Ezra said it best. I agree with him. Do what we know works, only do less of it. We recently did a collective mastermind meeting. This is our $25,000 per person, highest level mastermind that I co-chair with Jason, and we do it for a very small group of people, and we meet 3 times a year in Vegas. And I was recently joking when I lectured about this there that today's that today's 50-unit giveaway is the new 500 giveaway, meaning everyone's so scared to do anything out there that you can give away 50 units and probably have the same impact of when we used to have to give away 500, just because the competition for giveaways has really evaporated because everyone's scared. Now, I do not think Amazon considers a 50-unit giveaway or even a 100-unit giveaway as excessive, but your business, your choice. I do not represent Amazon. This is just my opinion. So don't write me an email if you get banned, okay? But just common sense tells me that, look, even Amazon sends bloggers and reporters and celebrities, thousands of units of their own Kindle products and their Kindle phone and Echo and all this kind of stuff. It's just kind of par for the course. But what Amazon doesn't consider, what Amazon, I believe, considers excessive would be like 1,000 given away in a 5-day period, right? So again, just common sense rule applies. The bigger the footprint, they will whack you at one point. And thank God you're all part of Fast Track, because I'm on the leading edge of innovation in the discounted launch funnel category, which is the wave of the future. And guys, as far as we can tell, is 100% Amazon compliant. So our number one strategy now is the flash sale funnel that, ironically enough, I rolled out last month. I swear I didn't have inside information. You would think I did. I got some emails going, Ben, how do you do this? How do you pull this off in a timely fashion like this? And I just had to laugh, and I just say it was pure luck. But the flash sale funnel is the perfect solution to the Amazon, terms of service. And by the way, that funnel is crushing it out there, and is probably a more robust and more, frankly, economically viable model anyway, because it allows us to rank at break even or a small loss or even a small profit. Okay, and just to refresh you, again, this was taught last month. You can refer to last month's webinar replay. This is what a flash sale ad might look like. Again, you can change it up, but flash sale alert, vitamin C serum, 48% off today, right? That would be like your break-even price. And we gave you the HTML template and a whole walkthrough to do what looks like a flash sale. Okay, pretty cool, right? All right, so we pioneered the giveaway funnel concept. And what's crazy is that our ideas were so successful here in Fast Track that we somehow even got the almighty Amazon to literally change their terms of service due to how well it worked. We never taught fake buys. I never did fake buys. I think that is, completely the wrong approach. What I'm talking about, though, is the concept of the giveaways. So it worked if Amazon had to literally address it in their terms of service. So I don't know if I should be flattered or what. So that I'll be leading the charge on the best and most powerful launch tactics moving forward. And again, I just want to stress, I always have your back. We're going to be sharing these on an ongoing basis in Fast Track, and they're going to be Amazon compliant, just like our flash sale funnel. Okay? All right. And that's just the bonus stuff. Let's get to the training content now. First thing, your jaw is going to hit the table when you see this first method. It's a ninja method for finding terrific products to sell on Amazon. It's just, I am so excited about this. No one, as far as I know, is using this method, and I think it holds great promise. But you're crazy if you share this with anyone outside of Fast Track. If you do, it's just going to ruin it for all of us. So I'm almost loath to teach this, but hey, I promised I would share what I'm doing in my business, so I'm going to do it. But, just know that with any of these tactics, the more that you share with people outside of Fast Track, the more you're just going to screw yourself, because the more people that know these methods, the less the result will be. Then we have a special guest, and actually one of our collective mastermind members that I hung out with in Vegas about 2 weekends ago, Ishan Soni, young guy, super motivated, super sharp guy. He has some really good ninja conversion tricks he's going to talk about. Then we're going to talk about how to create a selfie photo contest. You're going to love this. And lastly, something that I've been meaning to teach, I just haven't gotten around to it for a few months, but super cool, is would you like to know exactly how many coupons are being redeemed for what in Seller Central? And then, so this way, any advertising you run, if it's going to be successful or not. Well, I have an SOP that's going to walk you through exactly how to do this. It's not intuitive, but you'll find yourself using this weekly once I show you this. So with that, what do you guys say we get started? All right, I've been chopping at the bit for a couple weeks to teach you this. This is a ninja method for finding great products that you can private label on Amazon. All right, so let's just go high level. What's the best way to find great products to sell on Amazon? Okay, well, we can try to guess what will sell, or we can copy the herd in ASM and look at the best sellers on Amazon list. And as you know, everyone's eyeballs are on the best seller list, and even now outside, slightly the top sellers list. So the competition, it gets pretty crowded. But we know that there's a gazillion super good selling products that just for whatever reason don't show up on the radar screen as best sellers, okay? And I mean, I have a product that we just launched for a different brand, and I did not choose this product at all because it was on the Amazon bestseller list. And right out of the gate, and I'm talking this is only a few weeks old, we're about 20,000 a month. And I did not do a lot of giveaways or really anything that's spectacular. It just is one of those products, right, that just doesn't show up on a radar, but it sells very, very well on Amazon. And there's hundreds, if not thousands, of products like that, okay? So if you only adhere to the best sellers on Amazon, or if you only rigidly look at the BSR as your one and only way to choose a product, you're missing out on a whole world of opportunity that the competition is completely overlooking. So I don't like to guess. I don't love the herd method. I'm a contrarian by nature. I think we all are. Instead, as you guys know, I'm a big proponent of the 80-20 rule, of modeling, right? So I want to uncover what's already proven to sell super well, but on a related platform that is a huge e-commerce platform. And then find a way to private label those products and move them over to my brand on Amazon. Interesting, right? So in the past, you've used Amazon bestseller list or BSR to find products, and that absolutely does work. When I train beginners who just go through ASM, I will continue to teach that method because that's the highest probability method, right? They don't know if they don't know at that point. They don't have any judgment. They don't have any gut instinct. They don't even have a product. But as you progress and you get more experience in this business, the problem with only adhering to those two is that everyone is looking at those same products, which results in a lot of competition for a limited set of products. So, walk in their moccasins, like in other words, modeling. One of the reasons why franchises have a 90% success rate versus people that are just self-employed is because you're modeling proven systems that somebody else has already figured out. Well, what if we took that concept to finding products to private label? What if there was a tool that enables us to identify some of the most successful sellers on planet Earth on a related platform? And what if this tool also not only showed us who the best sellers are in categories, but then revealed, like stripped naked, their absolute best-selling products, including exactly how much of that product they've sold? And then what if we literally skimmed the cream off the top of the top sellers and top products and added those to our product line? That'd be pretty cool, right? Well, guess what? I found just such a tool, okay? And I want to give credit to a guy who I have no clue who this guy is. He's a seller named Justin Bohemian. I found him mention his tool in an online article. And as far as I know, though, I'm the only guy who is really, sort of updating this for Amazon and who is applying this in a way that I am. But you guys know I like to give credit where credit's due. So I just thought I'd give him a shout out. But you guys ready to learn this? All right. The tool that I've been using to find some amazing products is called, ready? Bum, bum, bum. TerraPeak. I'll leave the URL up there. TerraPeak.com. TerraPeak. Okay, now let me show you a sneak peek into what this tool can do. Now, you might say, Ben, I thought this is primarily an eBay tool. Absolutely, it's an eBay tool. And if we look at eBay and consider that giant platform as a viable tool to gauge market demand and super hot products, well, then check this out. Look at this. Now, I'm going to show you how to do this, but using TerraPeak, I can target a category like pet supplies, a subcategory under that dog supplies, and even a subcategory under that just other dog supplies. These are the actual eBay categories, and bam, it will show me the top sellers in order. This is their seller ID username on eBay. So see, it says like Hexy-Novelties. They sold $9,112 of this in this obscure category. Handicapped Pets sold $6,000, okay? Now that's kind of useful, but check this out. Wouldn't you like to know exactly the products that this top seller in this subcategory is selling? Well, check this out. Here we go. Here's all of the products with the exact sales. So check this out. So if I was just kind of goofing around, if I was in the pet supplies niche, I can see, and this guy's got tons and tons of products, okay? So just this first product here, a dog wheelchair, medium size, he sold $7,700 of, okay? And then I can see, so look, if I was gonna, let's say, private label, first of all, I wouldn't even be thinking about dog wheelchair, but all of a sudden now I'm thinking dog wheelchair just from poking around this tool. So I'd write down dog wheelchair. But then you're like, okay, well, what kind of dog wheelchair should I private label? Well, look at this. Almost twice as much, demand is for the medium size. The second is for the small size, and then the last is for extra size. So, we all have limited resources. So right out of the gate, guess what I'm going to source? The medium-sized dog wheelchair. And you can actually look up the guy's listing. And so right out of the gate, you can see what color's selling best, because he's probably going to feature the best-selling color or size or whatever in the main image. All of a sudden, though, I'm looking at his main images thinking, well, I know that this guy is the top seller for this entire category. So that gives me a launching off point right out of the gate for a high odds listing and images and blah, 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 blah. Okay? The hairs on the back of your neck should be standing on end right now. And by the way, look at the average price, $165 a unit. What if you could private label this for far less? I guarantee you could, and sell this under your own brand name, add some tweaks to it. I mean, I don't know if this would be a home run or not. This is just a random example that I showed you, but you can see the possibilities here. All right, so I'm going to teach you the exact way to uncover this information, and I'm going to walk you through the whole process now. You guys ready? All right. Let me show you how I'm using Terapeak. Okay, first of all, Terapeak has a free 30-day trial. So if money's tight, great. Log in and register for a free trial. You'll have a month to use this tool. You can use it to your heart's content, and then you can cancel. I'm not going to cancel because I use this pretty much daily now, and it's only like 14 or 15 bucks a month. So it is not even expensive, okay? Now, the first step is we're going to choose in-depth research, okay? This is the first step, and we're going to search by category. Now, I'm talking about eBay categories. Now, as an aside, Terapeak claims to give you research on Amazon. I found it completely useless. So if you're looking at it from an Amazon kind of information and research tool, just forget about it. This is, you know, and frankly, I don't find it as valuable as I want to know the best sellers at eBay, because that is a very similar platform. Both Amazon and eBay are price driven, but they're also very competitive, where you are surrounded, you know, side to side, top to bottom by your competition. And if one vendor is able to consistently kick ass and become the top seller, I want to see what products are selling. I want to see how they're organizing their listing, because that should, with a very, very high odds of success, you know, carry over into my brand on Amazon, okay? So anyway, we click in-depth research, and then we're going to click on the category research column. Now, there's a lot of other interesting tools on here that I'll probably explore in the coming months, like hot research and product research and even competitive research. But we're just going to do category research for now. This is the one I use the most, okay? And we're just going to start clicking through categories that we're interested in. Now, I just want to point something out to you. Let me just break out of the presenter mode here. Okay, look at my mouse. See how I'm circling this? This is pretty interesting. This gives you a high-level view of total sales at the category level. So red means super hot, high selling. Gray means low. So within antiques, you can see these subcategories. The hottest is Asian antiques. Interesting, right? And then silver, and then furniture, and so on and so forth. Now just because I had to make this slide fit on here, there's lots of these little dots, and this screen is actually usually full, but I just had to kind of edit this. So let's just pretend that we wanted to click on pet supplies. So you can either just go right to the subcategory, but I chose just to click on pet supplies so you can kind of see the lay of the land. Now, once you're in pet supplies, you can see the breadcrumbs up here. So all of eBay, the category pet supplies, and now it's asking us to dig in a little bit deeper. Now, what's interesting is reptile supplies is pretty hot. Unfortunately for this, for some reason, I can't get any information out of that. And you're going to find that here and there, certain categories, for whatever reason, they're not able to get, you know, yank all the data from eBay. But I would say 90% of them I have been able to. So this is interesting. Under bird supplies, cages is one of the best sellers. Now, you know, just something to think about. Again, this only applies if you're more experienced. But if you have access to a warehouse, you could sell larger items or heavier items. I mean, cages certainly don't fit into the ASM model, but they could be tremendous sellers on Amazon. It might not be worth it, though, to sell something like a cage FBA, but it might be worthwhile to sell it FBM. I mean, you could literally start off and just have, you know, 60 cages sent to your house because they're going to be larger, and you could probably save on those massive oversized, you know, warehouse fees that you'd have to pay if you were to ship them in FBA. But anyway, so incubators, that's interesting. That's the second most hottest thing, and that probably would be a very easy to private label item, and so on and so forth. But anyway, so let's choose a subcategory under dog supplies here, and I just decided, again, I didn't really try to find like best case scenario. I took these slides in real time as I was doing this myself. I just decided to check out harnesses, so dog harnesses. All right. Now here's what I do next. Once I click dog harnesses, you're going to click on this little profile of a person, and this is going to list the top sellers in all of eBay for harnesses specifically, okay? Interesting, right? You can see there's some money in dog harnesses, okay? So this seller, Karen-77, sold $11,000 worth of harnesses. By the way, I've looked up certain products where I have a very good sense for the volume of how well they sell on Amazon. And you can usually multiply this figure by 3 or 4 times. And if you're able to rank well on Amazon, you'll get about 3 to 4 times more sales on Amazon under your private label product than these guys are getting on eBay. So huge opportunity for us on Amazon to see what's working best here and bring it on over. But anyway, so this guy could probably be doing, and who knows, he might be on Amazon, I have no idea, but he could probably be doing about $30,000 for the exact same product line on Amazon. Again, that's just a rough estimate, okay? Make sure you change this to 7 days. For some reason, the default for the date range is 7 days. It should say 30 days. In fact, I think I just said it wrong. The default is typically 7 days. Change it to 30 days. 30 days is the max that it'll show us, but trust me, it's fine. So wouldn't it be nice to see what products Karen-77 are selling, and also what products Qzx909 and Raw Depot and Part Supply and Warehouse and blah, blah, blah are selling? I mean, what if we just looked at the top 10 harness sellers and saw the top, the top 1 or 2 products, the 20% of their product line that's bringing in 80% of the money, and what if we just brought all those product lines over to Amazon? It's really interesting. And what if we didn't just limit it to harnesses? What if we pick several categories kind of related to dog supplies? Like, I could know nothing about dog supplies at all, and just by walking into moccasins of the top 5 bestsellers across several subcategories, I could build out probably an extremely profitable and successful Amazon private label business with one brand. Interesting, huh? So anyway, what do we do here? You actually right-click on the top seller's name, and 3 options come up. Now, it's kind of weird the way they do this, but you're going to right-click on here, and then you're going to click on this link here. And this will take you to this seller's top titles. And then you want to make one change. You want to select the longest period of information that they display, which is 90 days. And you're going to click the blue search button. This will auto-populate with this person's name. So again, just to go back, you right-click on the top seller, click this link here. On the page that it brings you to, change this to 90-day period and search. And voila, look at that. I could know nothing about the world of dog harnesses, but I can see, just at a glance, quickly, look at this one. This is classic 80-20 rule, right? This listing, and I'd have to study this listing a bit more, but right away I see that soft mesh dog harness, okay, is going to be very successful. And I want to see what color of dog harness is he featuring in his listing. That would give me a huge competitive head start. Again, because typically when you're private labeling on Amazon, you don't really know much about the product. You don't know about the appeals. You get to, right out of the gate, see what this person is doing and optimize your listing even better and crush it over on Amazon. All right? You can see this one. They sold at $2,500 worth. Check this out. Now, I wouldn't have thought of this, but one of his third bestseller is dog puppy training potty doorbells. Frankly, don't even know what the hell that is. But guess what? If I'm going to build a dog supply brand, this might never show up on the radar as an Amazon bestseller, but could be a phenomenal add-on to my harness, and so on and so forth. You guys get the point, okay? So in about 5 minutes, we just found one seller doing about $60,000 turnover on eBay per year. Again, you can multiply that by 3 or 4 to get a sense for the Amazon sales. And we found his top 4 products in a subcategory in 5 minutes. In fact, in real time, it'll probably take you 2 minutes, but I had to teach it to you, so it took us a bit more. All his products, by the way, as you saw, are very easy to private label. I mean, I think my 14-year-old son Alex could probably go on Alibaba and private label those products because there's very few moving parts. It'd be very easy to private label. You can also see that it's not exactly a cheap selling price. His his average selling price for this is almost 16 bucks. For the stupid freaking, you know, dog puppy training, you know, potty doorbell, 13 bucks. You could probably source this for $1.50, $1.25. Guarantee I could source this for $1 something. Okay, so these are very high profit products, as you can see. Interesting. So let me explain how I'm using Terapeak, okay? 80-20 rule. On eBay, we know, just like on Amazon, a small handful of SKUs often account for a disproportionately high share of sales of a top seller. By drilling deep into categories, subcategories, subcategories like you saw me do with dog harnesses, and by identifying the most profitable SKUs of a top seller, guys, do you realize how powerful this is? This tool is exposing the absolute cream of the crop products that would normally be utterly invisible to me otherwise. Like, again, if you're kind of poking around on Amazon, I guarantee dog wheelchair would never in a million years even show up. And you don't need to sell that many of them at 125 bucks a unit, right? Thus, it wouldn't even show up as a bestseller. It's not going to have a high BSR, but you might be able to sell 30, 40, 50,000 a month from that product, again, because of the price point, and people are searching for it. So the strategy is this. Using this tool, we can identify the top sellers, then identify the small handful of uber successful SKUs that these guys are crushing it with. Ask yourself, can I easily private label? If yes, then we can bring them over to Amazon under our brand. This is very high odds formula. And plus, as I've alluded to, we have a load of real world market research at our fingertips because now we know how to create the listing. We know the bullets and the benefits and the sales angles and the best colors to use and the images, blah, 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 because we can study the actual listings on eBay that we know each of those listings are absolutely crushing it because they're the top seller. So, you know, guys, you owe me big time, okay? Now, here's another use. Let's say that, you know, let's say that you're happy with your product line. Great. Well, would you like to improve your conversion rate for your listing? All right. What if you use Terapeak to tweak and improve your Amazon listing? If you've ever struggled for copywriting ideas, right, to make your Amazon listing convert better, well, why not study the top eBay listings that are absolutely killing it out there and model them? You know, not sure about images or not sure about colors or blah, blah, blah. We'll study the images they're using, okay? So let me show you how to, let me show you how to find the actual listings from these top sellers. So here's what you do. Okay, remember this slide here? Here, let me actually, you know, I know sometimes when we're not used to a platform or it's a new platform, it can be confusing. Okay, so remember this view shows us the best-selling products for a top seller on eBay, for one top seller on eBay. Okay, if you now right-click on any of this, you get options. So I right-click on this dog harness here, and it says search eBay for current listings like this. And I believe what it's doing is literally copying and pasting his exact title because it brought me to this listing. Now, isn't this interesting? He's featuring a pink harness. Huh, interesting. A pink harness. Now, I don't know anything about this market, but right away I'm thinking, all right, you know, when I'm private labeling, why don't I source pink? Like, eventually I can source other colors. And you can see it's the same seller, Karen77. Look at this, 6,858 sold of this stupid freaking pink harness that to me looks so basic. All he's doing is he's got a little private label thing called a Puppia. I mean, I'm not in this market, but I've certainly never heard of Puppia. And you can see he's doing very, very well, and it's not cheap. So anyway, you know, if I was selling dog harnesses, I would drill into this listing. I would see what his sales copy is. I would see what he's doing. You can see he's offering free shipping. You know, very, very interesting. I mean, you can tell how active this is. He's got 322 inquiries about this product. Okay. And the default one, now again, I don't know, I know a lot about eBay, but not all that much. I don't know if this is the defaulted bestseller or if that's just how it kind of defaults. It starts with large and then medium and small. But anyway, I would be looking at all those elements and try to interpret how I can bring those over to Amazon. So if I was going to do this, you can see how size matters. and color probably matters. So I'd be thinking right out of the gate, I'm going to do a parent-child listing on Amazon. I would source pink and black in 3 sizes. You know, I'm assuming it says large, medium, and small. And you could probably source these very inexpensively because there's nothing custom about these except the label. And that's probably how I would build out my listing. Pretty interesting, right? I already showed this, so I just made the slide to remind you, and frankly to remind myself to share that, but I already did. That you can see just at a higher level view what category and what subcategories are doing very, very well sales-wise. And you can see one of the hottest categories for dog supplies under grooming is scissors and fur clippers. Okay. So here is the high-level idea. And I already said this 3 times, but I'm going to say it one final time because this is what I'm literally doing. Imagine if you use Terapeak and identify the best-selling products from like the top 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 eBay sellers, and use that to start your own successful Amazon brand. You know, a lot of people say, Ben, what brand should I start? Should I grow horizontally with a horizontal product line? Yes, yes, and yes is the answer, but then everyone says, well, how? I didn't have an adequate answer. My answer in the past was, well, you know, I would just tell them truthfully that what I did was I just started to kind of source products and kind of naturally saw where the market demand was, and that's where we kind of planted our flag, and we started adding kind of related products that way. But admittedly, this is a more powerful approach because I could source 5, 6, 7, 8 products, plant my flag in one brand, and I could do it with the highest odds approach that I know of now by just seeing what is working for all these top sellers in these subcategories on eBay and just bringing that over to Amazon. Now, make sure you hear me. Am I saying copy them? Absolutely not. I absolutely hate people that are that lazy. What I'm saying is use it as a starting point for products, listings, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Okay? Now, in summary, great research tool for finding new products. Great research tool to get a diversity of future products to release for your brand, and great research tool to model and tweak existing listings. Listings, I should have said. All right, so let me just take a mini Q&A here. Not too long because we have a lot to cover, but let me see if you guys have any questions. Mark, hey Mark, what's up? He says, have you ever played with watchcount.com? I have. I haven't found it really useful. It doesn't really do what all the stuff that the Terapeak can do. Once you look under the hood of Terapeak for what they charge, and I don't make any affiliate commission or like anything like that, I'm just sharing what I use. There's a whole lot more that it can do. I do know watchcount.com, and it's not bad. It's not bad. So Matthew, a longtime fast tracker, said, Ben, it's funny, dog training bells on Amazon is killing it, and it looks incredibly easy to rank in the top 5 now that everyone is scared to do promos. That's awesome. Do it, man. Get into it. So Kevin says, this is the kind of hot stuff that separates you from the rest of the field. Thank you. It's Kevin from St. Martin. You bastard, Kevin. Kevin loves to remind me that he's in these exotic places on boats and catamarans. I want to live Kevin's life. Thanks, Kevin. SKU. Okay, what is a SKU? SKU. A SKU just means, so like on Amazon, you know, we often say, just to use a buzzword, we say, oh, you know, how many SKUs do you have? That just means how many different products do you have? A SKU is like how many different UPCs do you have, right? So if I said to you, hey, I got 7 SKUs, that means I have 7 different products that I'm selling. Okay, that's all that means, a SKU. Okay, so Tim says, back to the terms of service on Amazon discussion that I kicked off this webinar with. When launching a new product, do you still advocate the friends and family giveaway to garner at least 20 reviews before starting Amazon sponsored ads? Oh yeah, yes. I'll tell you how I actually did it, and this is the new way that I'll be teaching it in the future. I actually sent out an email to all friends and family, and I said, buy it at full price, and then just send me your receipt, and I'll reimburse you by PayPal, or we'll just send you a check. Okay. Now I know somebody who read the terms of service to the letter says, man, technically you're violating terms of service. Well, yeah, I know. I mean, technically everything we do probably violates terms of service. But, you know, we're only talking like 30 or 40 people tops that you would do this with. And this is friends and family, right? I mean, it's not like they're going to say, hey, Amazon, this guy, you know, took advantage of me. He actually gave me a free product, right? So, frankly, if you're talking friends and family, I would not be afraid to do that. And I would just have them pay at full price. I would have them go old school. I'd have them type in a keyword and your product brand name. I'd have them click through the listing. I'd have them add it to the cart, okay? And I would just have them check out, full price, and then I would have them send me the receipt by email, and I would just reimburse them. And then I would pester them to leave a review. That's literally what my wife and I did with our first couple products, and it worked great. Okay, worked great. And we did other stuff too, but that's what we did to get the initial base of the reviews. Good question. Okay, so Kim Marie says she owns the potty doorbells. So she was elucidating me on what they do. Hang them on the inside of your door. The dogs ring the bell when they're with their nose when they have to go out and use the bathroom. Okay, I got it now. Thank you, Kim Marie. All right. Lee Chang says, can you please explain why the hot selling products on eBay would fly under the radar on Amazon? I'm not sure what you mean by that. Not all of them will. You know, if you type in, I'm sure if you type in like a category of like cell phones and a subcategory is like cell phone cases, I'm sure there's a crap load of those on Amazon, right? But you saw already, again, this wasn't like pre-planned best case example. When I took the screenshots, you found that we saw a guy that I guarantee that you'd be able to crush it over on Amazon with dog walkers, but it would never show up as a quote unquote bestseller because of the price point, right? This guy's the number one seller in that entire subcategory on eBay for dog walkers, but the price point's 125. So of course, if we're using BSR as our only measurement, that would never show up on a radar on Amazon. And yet I bet you can move, again, this is just gut instinct, but I almost guarantee you could sell 30, 40, 50,000 a month of dog walkers on Amazon. But because of the price point, you're not going to sell as many as, let's say, a $10 item. So that's what I mean. Paul says, those sales number on Terapeak you were displaying, was that for a 90-day period? Yes. You can refer back to the slides. The slides are like an SOP. Underneath the webinar replay, we always post the slides, and I always shoot my slides as if they were like an SOP, so that even if you know, so you only have to watch my training video once, and then you can just download the slides and kind of walk through with the slides open, and you should be able to kind of replicate what I'm doing. Okay, and I'll take a few more, and then we're going to go to our next segment because we have a special guest here. Mike says, do you have the pro account or the personal account? I don't know. Whatever the thing is for $14.95. I got most of the bells and whistles, so probably the pro account. I'm trying to see questions that pertain to what I covered here. Keith says, which URL do you use for the giveaways? Well, it kind of shocked some of you where over the last few months you saw when I was teaching, you know, running the Facebook video ads. Do you guys recall what you saw me doing and it freaked some of you out? I was just using the raw Amazon URL, and I said, I don't know why, but my gut instinct tells me that this is kind of the trend, that actually this is going to be working better for us. Isn't that interesting? And now all of a sudden people are kind of flipped out about super URLs. In truth, I'm going to continue to use both approaches, but I'm not going to hammer one keyword using one super URL to move 500 units through. That's just too big a footprint. It's just too blatantly obvious to even the most brain dead outsourced worker that Amazon hires that we're trying to game the system. So I have no problem just using, literally just using what's known as the canonical URL. In plain English, that's just like kind of the longer version of the regular old Amazon URL for your product. Okay. Cam, you probably want to use a blend of super URLs. So Tanya says, would this work for any category, for example, foods or more obscure categories? It'll work for any category that has products that sell on eBay, as far as I know. And last question, let me just see. What if a bestseller sells on eBay because it's a brand name? Would it do well if we private label the same? Well, no, it's the same rule. I mean, look, you know, common sense rule applies, right? It's the same rule of thumb as we learned in the ASM course, and that you learned from Jason Fladlin, that if it's a brand name driven product, like in other words, I'm not going to try to private label my version of the iPhone, because people literally just want the iPhone. So no, you know, all the good and common sense practices that apply to private labeling, they obviously apply to any of your product picking methods, whether your product picking method is to use Terapeak or just to wander Walmart or Target and come up with product ideas. If it's heavily brand driven, I don't want to compete. So like in other words, I probably, if it were me, I wouldn't want to get into the water filter business, because most consumers only know and only want one or two brand names when it comes to water filters. You know, that kind of stuff, okay? All right, so let's move on. Let's go to module 2 here, because time is our enemy, not our friend. We're going to talk to Ishan Soni. I'm going to actually unmute Ishan right now. Just give me a quick second to do so. Hey, Ishan, can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
I can. And if you can just kind of talk up just a little bit, that'd be great. And
sure, I'll have to. Sure.
There you go, much better. So I asked Ishan to be part of. Ishan, you're on your headphones or no?
Yes, I'm on my headphones.
You are, okay. All right, so I'm just going to mute you for my intro here then, because I'm hearing a bit of echo. So yeah, Ishan Soni, really cool guy, and sharp marketer. He recently joined the Collective Mastermind, which is a $25,000 per person high-level mastermind that we're doing, where we meet up with these guys 3 times a year in Vegas. We just had our first meeting. It was absolutely amazing, the sharing and the people that were in that room. Ishan also happens to be a long-time Amazon Fast Track student as well. And I got to know Ishan when we were hanging out, and he had some fantastic ideas when it comes to conversion tricks for your listing, okay? And so I saw some of his conversion tricks that he's been using, and I said, hey, dude, please be on my Fast Track webinar and share a few of your tactics with our group, because I think they would really like to hear what you're doing. So it's my great pleasure to introduce all of you to fellow Amazon Fast Track member and Collective Mastermind member, Ishan Soni, and I'm going to unmute you right now, Ishan. So I will yield the floor to you now.
Thanks so much, Ben. So, hey everybody, it's my absolute pleasure to be here and serving you guys. My name is Ishan Soni. I'm 22 years old. I've actually been marketing online for about 3 to 4 years, and I've been a direct response marketer and promoted different business opportunities and different things, even done some affiliate marketing for 3 to 4 years. I never really saw any massive breakthrough about when I joined ASM. I launched my first product in about April, and I took it from about 0 to about 50,000 a month. And it wouldn't have been possible without all the help that I got from everyone at Rapid Crush, the ASM main group, Ben Cummings, Jason Vladlin, everybody, right? And I'm also a proud member of the collective. It was absolutely fantastic meeting such high-level people, masterminding with them. There were about 20 to 21 of us, and it was an unbelievable experience, guys. It really was. So next slide, please, Ben. Yeah. So last month, I did about 50,000 a month, and September 6th happened to be my birthday, and that was the first day. September 6th was my first day where I sold over 100 units in a single day, and I had my first $3,300 day. Now, for those of you who are analytical like me, you know $3,300 a day is more like $100,000 a month. And then a few days later, I ran out of my best SKU, and that was that basically. But next slide, please. Basically, the reason why I mentioned this and I'm showing you these numbers is because I owe literally all my success in this Amazon business to Ben and the Rapid Crush family. And without Jason pitching me the bleep out of ASM, I would not be here today. And this is just my way of giving back. I really appreciate everything that Ben and everybody has put together here. I've been a member of Fast Track, and isn't it just amazing how Ben comes up with all these amazing strategies, and it's not just one or two strategies. I mean, he's got a whole bunch of strategies that he shares every single month, and who knows where he comes up with this stuff, which is just fantastic. So with that being said, let's get down to business, and let me show you something that's, I think, really going to help you basically maximize your own success. So here's exactly what I like to call this strategy. It's not really the best name, but it's basically modeling your own success. So what if I told you that you could increase your product sales by 30 to 50%, get more traffic and targeted traffic too, and increase the overall conversion rate of your product? Now, what if I told you that you could do this with like one time 10 minutes of work for each product? This is so simple. It's almost obvious, but it's insane how many people don't do it. I actually have a small mastermind of my own, about 10 to 15 to 20 people. As obvious as this is, I mean, literally nobody does it. But we do this by modeling our own success. Now, what I'm going to share with you is going to sound pretty simple at first, but it's extremely powerful, and I'm going to tell you why. We're basically taking Ben's Ben never invented this rule, but the 80-20 rule that Ben talks about all the time. When it comes to our list, we're going to analyze our listing, look at exactly the data points, and we're going to look at it and go, okay, what are the 20% of things in this listing that are getting 80% of the results? We're going to take that and we're going to put it on steroids. That's exactly what we're going to do. Oh, you're already on the next slide. So here's exactly what the strategy is. So we're going to take our top 3 highest trafficked and highest converting keywords from our sponsored ads campaign. Right now, stick with me. I know this is a lot of terms that I'm throwing out there, meaning the best keywords with the lowest ACoS percentage. Now, for those of you who have run sponsored ads, the only number that you really want to be looking at is ACoS, right? If your ACoS percentage is lower than your profit margin, then you're making money. And if you're making money, I mean, even if you're spending $100 and you're making 101 back, hey, it's like a slot machine thing. You just put in as much money as you can, and you keep making money, because from those keywords you're going to continue getting sales. It's going to help your sales velocity, et cetera, et cetera. Then what we're going to do is we're going to take these top 3 keywords, and I'm going to show you exactly how to identify these best keywords for your listing, right? We're going to strategically put them in our listing title. Okay? The earlier that you put these keywords, the better. I'm going to explain that, so don't worry about it. Okay, I'm actually going to talk about one of these points later. The other thing is, make sure that the first 5 words of your listing title are something that's attention grabbing. And by attention grabbing is, I mean, if somebody goes to Amazon and they search for your product, the first 5 words tell them that, hey, you know what, this is exactly what you're looking for, and you need to basically click here. So the searcher on Amazon knows that, okay, this is really, really relevant to what I want. That's going to help you a lot, because the reason why you want to have your first words as attention grabbers is because on sponsored ads on the right hand side, only about 4 to 5 words actually show up. So that's why you want to make sure that these are attention grabbers. Okay, so don't waste that space. Next slide, please. So after you've optimized your listing, what we're going to do is we're going to send some external traffic signals to the Amazon algorithm. Okay, and we're going to do this through running a flash sale, discounted sales, like Ben has been talking about for a week or so. And what's going to happen is once we take these top 3 keywords, we put them in our listing in a vertical way, which I'm going to show you exactly how to do, right? We're basically going to give a indication to Amazon that, okay, you know what? These are the most important keywords for my listing, and I want you to rank me higher for them. We're basically signaling Amazon that, okay, this is what I want you to rank me for. Okay, you will see an increase in rank for the profit pulling keywords, which means, just give me a second, I'm going to quickly grab a sip of water. I've actually been having a cold ever since I got back from Vegas, and I haven't been able to recover. That's why my voice is a little bit, up and down and stuff like that. Anyway, so once we run this flash sale, you will immediately see an increase in your rank for the profit pulling keywords, which means you will see more traffic. And because it's from the keywords that were that had the lowest ACoS, and this will come full circle when I actually show this to you, but because it was for the highest convert keywords, the top 3, your overall conversion for your entire listing is going to go up, right? And because that's going to go up, you're going to see an increase in rank. When you see an increase in rank, you're going to get more traffic, and it's going to be higher converting traffic. So it's just going to be a snowball effect. All right. Now, I know a lot of people are going to ask this, how are you going to drive traffic and all these different things? You can send traffic through the canonical URL or through the super URL. Your business, your choice. It's totally up to you. Okay. Next slide, please. Here's exactly why this works. In my experience, okay, Amazon tends to weigh keywords in your title more than keywords in your bullets. That's just been my experience. Of course, I don't know for a fact, but hey, this is what I know. I've seen it true across multiple of my listings. And just by doing this, my listing actually went from bottom of page 2 to middle of page 1. Okay. Now, if I told you guys that, okay, do 10 minutes of work and you're going to immediately see an increase in rank, would you do it? Of course you would. Okay. Next slide. So here's an example. Okay. A low ACoS percentage is basically a reflection of high conversion, okay, for that specific keyword. Now, this is very, very important. Pay very close attention to this. I come from a direct response marketing background. I've done AdWords and all these different things. I've followed leaders like Perry Marshall and stuff who run massive advertising campaigns, and I learned this from him. Every keyword that you have is a specific market. It's a specific need that a person has, okay? So when we look at our Amazon sponsored ads data, every keyword you almost want to look at as if it's a different product or it's a completely new market, because when you do that, you can extrapolate the data and see that, okay, you know what, a lot of people seem to think that my product is really relevant for these top 3 keywords. I mean, this is really strange, but I have a product where people type in something and my product is not really what people are searching for, but a lot of people end up buying the product when they search for that keyword. So now what I'm doing is my next product, as a matter of fact, is going to be almost based off of that keyword, because I already know how many searches it's getting, and I know that it's a market on its own, right? So don't look at each keyword as if, oh, these are just a bunch of keywords. It's literally each keyword is an opportunity for you, okay? Meaning, if someone types in silicone baking mat and a high percentage of people buy through your listing, it means that your specific listing, excuse me, hold on, I'm going to get another sip of water. I appreciate you guys sticking with me. Like I said, I've been having a cold, so I apologize for that. But it basically means that your listing for that specific keyword perfectly matched the need of the searcher. So think about that. The search found bot on Amazon, when somebody types in silicone baking mat, they click on your listing and they buy. So Amazon deems your listing relevant for that specific keyword. Okay. Now Amazon's algorithm tracks all this for across all different keywords and rewards those who provide their searcher exactly what they're looking for. Next slide. So here's exactly what we're going to do. Okay, this is going to be very, very simple. Step one, you're going to want to open up your campaign manager inside of Seller Central. You do this by going into advertising campaigns, campaign manager, and then you want to click on the campaign that you want to get data from. Now, in order to use this technique, you have to have a sponsored ad campaign up. And here's what I would recommend for those of you who don't have a sponsored ad campaign running, or it's not profitable or whatever. Anytime you're doing any advertising, the first phase of that advertising is just to buy data. You're not looking to make a profit. What you're looking to do is you're just looking to get a bunch of data so you can analyze and see where the sales are coming from, where the traffic is coming from, and basically what the 80-20 is, right? What are the 80% of the things that are bringing results? So here's what I would suggest. I'm totally okay with a new product spending $100, $200, $300 within the first week just to buy data. And what I do is I just bid on like 300, 400, 500, or as many keywords as I want, because all I want is I just want feedback, and I basically want to see what are the top 10 keywords. I'm not looking to make a profit at that point, right? Next slide. Step two, what you're going to do is you're going to sort your campaign by the most recent data, okay? Now, this is very, very important. If you've had a campaign that's been running that has run the entire of last month, then you want to select last month from this drop down. If you don't have, then you want to go last week. Now, specifically, you don't want to do this week or today or yesterday, because Amazon may not have shipped all the items that you sold. So the data is going to be kind of inaccurate. And the more data that you have, the more accurate it's going to be, and the higher odds you're going to have of success. So that's why ideally you want to be looking at last month. Second best case scenario is last week. Okay? Next slide. Step three, you want to click on keywords so you can see all the different keywords in your campaign. Next slide. And then you're going to see a page with a lot of data just like this. Now, I've hidden some of these things for privacy reasons, but you're going to see a whole bunch of data. And hold on. Yeah, so you're basically going to see a whole bunch of data. Next slide. Step four. Now what we're going to do is now we're going to analyze this data to find the top 3 highly profitable keywords that we could go after. Now we're going to make a decision on what our top 3 keywords are based on 2 factors, okay? And it's got to match both factors, not one, not the other, and it's got to, you basically got to find the right balance on this. Number 1, we're going to look at the number of impressions, okay? The more impressions, the better it is. Number 2, we're going to look at the ACoS, okay? ACoS is basically, how can I explain this? Okay, so if you spend $10 in ads and you made $100 in revenue, right? That's basically an ACoS of 10%, okay? So if your profit margin is 50%, that means for every $20 you're spending on, or every $10 you're spending on advertising, you're making $100 in revenue and you're profiting $50. So your net is like $40, if that makes any sense. All right, so that's kind of how you want to look at the numbers. Next slide. So here's what we're going to do. After we have this screen come up, you're going to want to sort impressions by the highest to the lowest, okay? Next slide. Then what we're going to do is we're going to look at the data, and I don't want you to just look at the impressions from higher to lower and go, okay, this thing has a lot of impressions, therefore it must be an important keyword. We're also going to look at, hey, what are some of the keywords that I may not have looked at so closely or may not have optimized for so strongly that have some of the lowest ACoS. And you're basically going to strike that balance. So in this screenshot, you're actually looking at a live campaign that I have. And you can see the first keyword there, if you look at the first column, the impressions is 85,000. Now this is on a monthly basis. And the ACoS is about 14%. So that's pretty good. Now the second one, excuse me, is 37,000 impressions, but the ACoS is 20%. Now I could go for that, but if you look a little bit lower, the keyword number 2, you're going to see it's got 12,000 impressions, but the ACoS is 8.1%, right? So would you rather go for a keyword that's got 37,000 impressions with a 20% ACoS, right? Or 23,000 impressions with an 8% ACoS, okay? So from this list, I just picked 3 keywords which I thought. So what you're basically doing is you're just giving it your best thought. Don't overanalyze this, right? This does not require you to analyze and think for 20 minutes. Just pick the 3 best keywords from this list and you'll be able to do that. All right, next slide. Now, it's pretty simple, okay? It took me like 10 to 15 minutes just to explain this, but when you actually do this, you can do this in like less than a minute, seriously. Step 5, now what we're gonna do is, now that we have identified the 3 best keywords, here's how we're gonna optimize our listing and give signals to Amazon that, hey, these are the top 3 keywords, rank me higher, basically. We're gonna stick the best keyword in your title. The earlier that you put it in, the better, okay? Now, we're gonna try getting the other 2 in your title as well. This always works out for me. So of course it's gonna be a little bit product dependent, and it depends on how different the keywords are. You want to make sure that your title, by the way, has high density. So let me kind of go a little bit into this. And you want to make sure you don't repeat the same keywords unless you absolutely have to. For example, okay, let me just give you an example. If your top 3 keyword terms are like best silicone spatula, your second best keyword is green silicone spatula, and your third best keyword is silicone spatula for kitchen, then basically what you want to have is each individual word, okay, not the entire keyword phrase, but each individual word in your. So in that example, what I want to have is, I want to have the title that starts with like maybe best green silicone spatula for kitchen, and that basically covers all 3 keywords. So you don't want to go like, oh, best silicone spatula, comma green silicone spatula, comma silicone spatula for kitchen, because you're just taking up a lot of space. And I think Ben can also attest to this, Amazon looks at like percentage of like if your keyword is basically 10 words, 5 of those words are your actual keywords, then it's basically going to have like 50% relevancy. I don't know exactly how to explain that, but it's basically going to have a much higher relevancy than if you have a 200 word title. Now, I am going to say this, I do have 200 word titles. I do have 170 character titles and stuff like that, and knock on wood, Amazon hasn't done anything there. I do have them less than 200 characters, but I'm sure I'm violating some of their policies and stuff. But hey, everything you do is violating some policy. But basically what you want to have is, you don't want to repeat these keywords because you're basically just wasting space, okay? So you want to take up as least amount of space as possible and cram these top 3 keywords in your title. And do not do anything unless you absolutely have to. Next slide. Now, after you've optimized your listing, this is very, very powerful. Pay very close attention, right? Even if you were to drive traffic, once you plug these keywords into the title, even if you were to drive traffic through the Amazon canonical URL and you're freaked out about all these TOS changes and you don't want to use the super URL and stuff, that's totally okay. You know why? Because every single person that comes to your listing, every bit of traffic that you get to your listing, you're basically now giving an indication to Amazon, because your title has got your most important keywords. Amazon's going to look at that, and those are going to be kind of credited. It's going to be kind of like a +1 sort of thing, right? So here's the other things that you can do. So if that's really all you do, and you continue running your flash sales and all the external traffic and stuff, you will see an increase in rank, okay? Now, you can also run a discounted 40 to 50% off your product. Okay, you can drive sales for the best keywords specifically through the super URL. Now, this of course depends on your comfort zone. I still do this. I don't think this is against Amazon's TOS, but I am going to tell you this. What I do is I use ClickMagick. Actually, three to 4 months back, Ben actually shared a link rotator tool to basically rotate through 3 or 4 different keywords and stuff. So I would use a tool like that and rotate through my top 3 keywords, and basically run a flash sale just targeting those top 3 highest probability best keywords. Okay, here's something else that you can do. You can put the top 3 keywords in a separate ad campaign. Start with a super high bid, okay, like a super high bid, and then adjust it a little bit lower after you get 3, 4, 5 days of data. See, when you're running a sponsored ad campaign, how can I make a profit from this? The first step is, how can I get maximum data? How can I get maximum impressions? And then you can make a decision. After you do that, you can adjust it. Look at the keywords that are actually profitable. Look at the keywords that are actually break even. Anything that's at a major, like super high ACoS, like over 100% ACoS or something, you want to turn off or pause. Okay. Then you want to adjust it, scale up the campaign with a high daily budget. Here's the thing: the more sales that you get from this keyword, or this set of 3 keywords, the higher Amazon will rank you for it. So that's really it. This is literally like 5 minutes of work for you. And let me demonstrate just how powerful this is. So let's look at this keyword. Okay, I think I skipped the slides. Next slide. I always forget this. If you saw this, my product sells for $35.77. So if you look at that, the sales column says 1,788. So that means I've made exactly 50 sales last month from this specific keyword. Okay, that's from 492 clicks. Now, this is getting a little bit geeky, but in direct response marketing, where we call this the earnings per click. Basically, how much money are you making for every single click on Amazon that's coming to your listing? So if you were to take your sales numbers and divide it by the number of clicks, so in this case, 1788.50 divided by 492, you would see that I'm basically making, for each person who clicks on my listing, I'm basically $3.64 in revenue. Now, if I could just capture 20 organic clicks a day, right, just from this one specific keyword, okay, and I could do that over a 30-day period, that's basically $3.64 times 20 times 30, so that's probably 600 or something. That's basically 2,184 or something every single month from this one keyword, from this one tweak, and that's for one keyword, by the way, right? You do this across 3 keywords, think about that. You basically add 6,000 a month. Well, in my case, I would probably add 6,000 a month to my bottom line per product. Okay, is that powerful or what? And if you've got multiple SKUs, you do this across multiple SKUs, this is an immediate boost in your conversion. And here's the fantastic after effect of this entire campaign that you're going to do. Because these are your 3 most relevant, 3 highest converting keywords, because you're going to get more percentage of traffic through these keywords, because you're going to rank higher for them, basically, your overall conversion rate for your entire listing is going to boost up. So that's pretty powerful. Next slide. Okay, so you might be asking, okay, this sounds extremely simple. Does this really work? Well, let me tell you. Just by this, as I already mentioned, my listing went from the bottom of page 2 to middle of page 1 for my biggest profitable keyword. As a matter of fact, it's the same keyword that you saw in the last slide, the 85,000 impression one. Okay, my average sessions went from 160 sessions a day to 270 sessions a day. And my product went from selling 25 units a day to selling 45 units a day. Okay, so that's pretty good, especially for a $35 product. So that's almost doubled my sales, increased my rank, my overall conversions gone up. It's a win-win strategy, and you have to do this. This is so simple. It takes like 10 minutes. All right. Next slide. So basically, that's really all there is to this strategy. It's extremely simple. You can probably do this sometime today. I mean, just take like 10, 15 minutes and just go ahead and implement this. Look at your listing, look at the top 3 keywords, and start optimizing for those more aggressively, because hey, those are the 20%. Actually, as a matter of fact, those are like the 5% of the keywords that are bringing in 80 to 90% of this of like, you know, the conversions and the sales and everything like that. So I hope you guys like that. Ben,
Awesome.
that's really awesome.
Awesome. Well, so what do you guys think about this? Pretty cool, right? People are typing in some great comments here, and I'm going to wait for great tip. So I'll wait. They're all impressed how young you are, by the way. They're like, damn, he's 22 and he's killing me out there, man. And I'm really sorry to hear you're sick. I think our collective mastermind was so intense. I think we practically killed Ishan.
That's probably true, because this is the longest cold I've ever had, honestly.
So this is classic 80-20 action, right? So do this on your next Rainmaker Day. 10 minutes worth of work to potentially make, as Ishan says, $6,000 more a month. And keep in mind, too, when we're talking $6,000 a month, that's found money. So, like, in other words, your expenses haven't increased to get that extra $6,000 a month. That's 100% of that increase is profit. 100%. Because their fixed costs don't increase. It's just maximizing your conversion rate. And he walked you through the math and how that works. I think this is fantastic. I really like this trick. I found the same thing, by the way, that the title keywords do seem to be kings. The bullets are second. So keywords and the bullet points are queens. And then in third place is a product description and a search terms. So let me just kind of summarize this. So he's saying front load your title with the best proven keywords from your actual data extracted from your Amazon ads campaign, so you're not guessing. Drive a little traffic to the listing once you've made those title changes to basically demonstrate to Amazon how relevant those title changes are and those keywords are, even more so now. And Amazon will reward you with the higher profit traffic based on those keywords, so I love it. All right, so let me see if we have any questions here, Ishan, okay?
Yeah, sure.
Well, Bart wants to know, how much are you bidding for each keyword? I think it just depends, correct?
Yeah, it just depends. I actually start out with a very high bid because I'm just looking to get a bunch of data that I can kind of analyze. So I usually bid anywhere from $1.80 to about $2.25, and then I just adjust after that.
Yeah. And then Jill says, will the top 3 keywords change from time to time? If so, should we keep updating the keywords in the title every time that the data changed?
That's a good question. To be honest with you, you could basically take this entire strategy, and it doesn't have to be necessarily limited to the top 3 keywords. It could be the top 4 keywords for you. It's totally, I mean, that's totally okay. So if you find after a month or so that there's this one new keyword that's come in that's absolutely crushing it, you just, again, add it to your title. You don't get rid of the other 3. And yeah, it's pretty simple.
Yeah, you probably just kind of play it by ear, right? So if all of a sudden, I mean, you're probably not like obsessing over this every week. You probably will check in again, I don't know, literally probably when you just remember in 4 months and be like, okay, things are still looking good. Or you might be like, oh, whoa, wait a minute, this new keyword seems to have kind of moved up the rank. Let me weave that into the title. And you'll probably, right?
Yeah, that's exactly what I do.
Yeah. So Thomas says, great. Keith says, awesome. So young and so good. Ted says, extremely cool. Avery says, that's awesome. Thank you. Paul says, you're great. Dennis says, well done. Let me get some questions here. They are liking this. Nick says, genius. So obvious, brilliant.
Let's
see. A lot of people
I appreciate the feedback.
Yeah, a lot of people loving this. Let me try to find a question. Okay, Matthew.
I think this is really. Sorry about that. I think this is really that simple that there's not going to be that many complicated questions. But anyways, you can go ahead.
Yeah, I agree. It's pretty straightforward. Matthew says, would it make more sense to sort by clicks instead of impressions? Well, either one. I mean, he's looking for. See, he's coming from a PPC background where the data is king, right?
Yeah, data is king. The other thing that I would like to mention is um, because okay, think about this. This is the big picture thing. Um, if you have a listing where this starts with something that's not the exact keyword that somebody typed in. I think Ben, you talked about this a month or two back. That if somebody searches for Harry Potter, I think you give an example like this, and the listing says Harry Potter XYZ, then it just matches, and people and your click-through rate would be basically very, very high because it's exactly what the searcher is looking for. The reason why I don't necessarily look at the clicks instead of impressions is because impressions, because I'm going to optimize my listing title to make it basically more relevant for these three keywords, my click-through rate is going to shoot up, and it's going to be higher than the data that I've already seen inside the sponsored ads, because I'm going to optimize my listing. And most of the time, I find one or two keywords in my top three that I hadn't even optimized for at the very beginning. In fact, when I first launched the product, the main keyword that I think, I'm almost always wrong. So
Yeah.
there's that.
Every keyword that leads back to your listing is like a little kind of tributary,
Yeah.
like a money tributary. So like when you first start a listing, just like Ishan said, we don't know exactly what keywords are going to jive most with your listing. Like we may think that it's, I don't know, Harry Potter, men's boxers, and we learn that it's actually Harry Potter best gifts.
Yeah.
Right? So what he's saying is you look at the actual real world data from real customers that are voting with their wallet, and you say, okay, this I'm clearly crushing it for that particular keyword. How do I know that? Because it has a low A cost, yet it has enough impressions, so I know that I can trust that data. It's not like, oh, I just got lucky and like 2 people out of 8 people just happen to click it. No, you're looking.
That's very important.
Yeah.
That's very, very important.
I mean, I guarantee you, if you were to knock on 1,000 doors in any neighborhood and say, excuse me, man, would you like to buy a pile of dog poop? You're going to find 1 or 2 crazy people that'll say yes. Well, what happens if you accidentally start with those 1 or 2 crazy people who do want to buy dog poop? You're going to think, good God, out of every 2 houses I knock on, 2 people out of those 2 want to buy dog poop. This is a home run. So you need a large enough data set to have data that you can trust. Does that make sense?
Absolutely true.
I know, sick example, right? But Ishan knows that's how I roll. So we had a question, and we'll have to move on. George says that he has he ran some campaigns, and he must be in a very competitive space. So some of the highest impression keywords he had a negative A cost, so he paused those. But he still has some highly profitable keywords that are running in that campaign, but they're just not getting the pure number of impressions as the money loser. So he says, should I use those? Yes. Yes, the answer is yes. And then he was concerned about blatantly violating the terms of service for the titles. And well, yeah, this is we're kind of redlining this. So I mean, technically, if you put anything in there other than the brand name and the model number and like part number, you're violating technically the letter of the law of the titles. However,
one thing that I'm actually doing. Sure, go ahead. Sorry.
No, sorry. What were you saying? Say.
So one thing that I'm doing with my product and my the product name basically is I actually changed my product name because I've basically, I don't know how to explain this exactly, but I have like I changed my product name to have the main keyword in my product name, and it does make sense. Like I just switched one word, which basically means the exact same thing, but it's just a different word. So
Got it.
That's the one thing that I'm doing. So even if Amazon tomorrow like hits the big red button or something, even if I put my main product name in the title, I'm still going to be all right.
Yeah, I mean, what he's saying is, so when the kind of what hits the fan and they want you to change your title, if you have on your Shopify store a URL, or literally you could just build one really quickly, and it can be private, just as long as somebody from Amazon support can see it. If they see that your product name is best dog harness on planet Earth, and that's your product name, I still think technically it might require a bit of a change, but you can make the argument, no, this is the product name. It's not marketing hype that I'm squeezing into the title. And so that's, again, an extreme example, but that's basically what Ishan is saying. Make the product name a keyword-rich title so that you can make the argument to Amazon, no, this is the title. And I've actually done that before. We had to quickly throw up a URL. We had to say we are the manufacturer. No, this is the title. You can see it right here. And accepted our title. Okay, Robert says, wow, I need to do this right now after webinar. And one final person says, get well soon, Ishan. All right.
Thank you.
Let's see. All right, yeah. So I think we covered this well. Ishan, I'm going to mute you. Thanks again, buddy. I really appreciate you sharing this, and it was great to hang out with you in the collective, and I'll see you here in a couple months, okay?
All right, Ben, thank you so much. Just one quick last thing that I want to mention is for those of you who are at a level who want to be meeting up with high level people, as in the collective is the place to be at. Of course, it doesn't make sense for everybody, but if that's something that you're looking to do, I would definitely love to meet you at the next collective meeting. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate it.
Hey, thanks so much, Ishan. And yeah, you know, it's you know, I don't want to turn this into a plug for the collective, but if you know somebody who would be a good candidate, you know, you can write into Emily, and we can hook you up with Anna, and she'll have you fill out like an application. It's not a bullshit application. As Ishan can tell you, the caliber of people in that room were really at a high level, because I'm doing this for selfish reasons. I wanted to be surrounded by people like Ishan that could add some real value, because I have to be there several times a year, and I want them to help me grow my business just like we're helping them grow their business. So anyway, thanks so much, Ishan. Let's move on to our next topic now, and this is something I am again really pumped to share with you. And this is actually something where we're doing actually now live while I'm teaching this, as well as you'll see in a minute. We just launched one of our contests. I'm going to share with you exactly what we're doing to create a hugely successful selfie photo contest. And I just took a screenshot. This is from some of the great selfies that Ezra uses on one of his e-commerce websites. And you know, selfies are amazing, because I'm sure you've heard the old adage about testimonials that you know, whatever I say about my product, fine, but if somebody else says it about my product, they're 1,000 times more trustworthy, because I have a vested interest to tell you that my product's great. But if they are met with a wall of happy, smiling, thrilled customers that are standing there holding your product, everything you say, therefore, must be true on your e-commerce site or in that Amazon listing. So let's get into this. Imagine holding a selfie photo contest that looks like this. Let's take a look at this here. Now, this is actually one that I built, and you can go here and actually play with it. You can actually upload an image. Please keep it family friendly, but this is a real contest that I built. Now, this is a fictional brand. I made this logo in about 10 seconds. By the way, I got to show you a killer logo or branding tool that you're going to love. I just bought this image off of iStock Photo. You don't even need an image here. And you can see how freaking amazing this is. Enter to win a $250 gift certificate to Johnson Kitchen. Fill your kitchen with our amazing products by winning our selfie photo contest. Just take a selfie of you holding any of our Johnson Kitchen products, upload it, win great prizes. Here are the selfie contest requirements. You must show your face, because, by the way, what you don't want is people's hands just holding the product. That's useless. You want to be able to repurpose their selfies you know, in the images of your Amazon listing. Remember, I taught you a few months back, you can do kind of an 8-wall. So you have one 1,000 pixel by 1,000 pixel image. You can fit 4 selfies in that, or 8 selfies, or 12 selfies. You're not allowed to use text, but imagine if they saw 8 selfies of women and men, or whatever your market is, just happy, thrilled, smiling, holding your product. That speaks volumes. That would definitely make you stand out in that Amazon listing, and would definitely lead to higher conversions. And you can take that to the whole next level when you take those same images and use them in your Shopify store, not only throughout your footer on your homepage, but also on the individual product listing. If you have like one product, and let's say it's a dog harness, and you have, 32, happy smiling owners that have their dog and they're using your harness, my God, right? That instantly makes you credible and believable, and it makes it appealing. And by the way, people start to step into those images and picture themselves using the product. I talked about that with the Apple Watch, how I thought that was a brilliant TV commercial. They showed all these different uses of it, and you start kind of like picturing, oh yeah, I guess I could use it to crank music while I'm jogging. Gee, hadn't thought of that. So you start literally stepping into those pictures and at an unconscious level, kind of visualizing yourself using that product and loving it. Anyway, so they must show their face. They must be holding our product, and we want it to be fun. So I say make the selfie fun, creative, a cool location, or anything whimsical. Write a brief description and enter your email. And it's literally what they do. They just upload, they can drag the photo here. They type a description like this. I'm using my Johnson pan to do some pretty cool stuff. As you can see, haha, vote for me. And you can see she's flipping like pancakes. Mary says, I love my Johnson kitchen rolling pan. Now, I just seeded these. There's an option to seed your contest because no one wants to be the first person to show up to a party. So, these are fake. These are ones I just loaded that just for demonstration purposes. Okay? Now, look at how we have done this. If you have a Shopify store, I highly recommend, and you have several SKUs. This would only realistically work if you had several SKUs, or if you had a product that people would reorder. Offer a gift card to your Shopify store, because it's like, it's like giving away money at a discount, right? So for every $250 worth of Johnson Kitchen gift card that they can redeem on our site, it's not costing me $250. But also, I highly recommend that if possible, you offer a lot of gifts like this. Why? Because then people start thinking, well, hell, probably not all that many people will actually enter, so I have a good chance of winning something, and all I got to do is take a selfie. I mean, today, everybody's a photographer. Everybody's a photographer. Everyone with an iPhone or a smartphone is a photographer. So this is something super easy for them to do. Okay? Winner will be chosen on blah, 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 and there you go. Okay? You could just tell instinctively if you even have a drop of a marketer's blood in you that this looks good, it feels good, it's simple, it's all above the fold. So let me now show you how we do this. Okay. So, so I already covered most of this content here. I just want to point out that there's actually lots of uses for selfies. Obviously, within Amazon Images, within your Shopify footer and listings. But these make great content for email newsletters. A lot of you are doing package inserts and collecting the purchaser email. And you're wondering, like, well, what do I send these people? Well, what if you featured one selfie a month or one selfie every week even, and said, oh, Jane is loving our pink dog harness. Hey, we got another great selfie from Jane Shamalpowitz from blah, 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 Iowa. Look at her gorgeous golden retriever, and look at the bling of that pink, Johnson dog harness that she's using, and then you insert the picture and blah, 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 right? You can use it for content for press releases. Even just holding a selfie contest is an excuse to write a press release on. Announcing the winners within a press release is a great excuse for a second press release, okay? Great content for package inserts. So imagine like a double-sided postcard, if that's what you use as a package insert. On the back side, literally just a wall of several selfies, and then the other side says, join our, like our VIP list. Find out why these people are so happy and thrilled to be product testers, win great prizes, and be part of our blah, blah, blah community. Join here. Super powerful, right? It also makes good content under certain circumstances for your package designs. Like if you had a box, you could have several selfies on the back of the box. Be careful with that one, because you don't want to be too aggressive using other people's images. I think you're fine if it's on like in an email or on your website, because you know the email only goes out once and then it's done. If somebody, whatever, like doesn't want their image used any longer on your website, it takes 2 seconds to remove it. However, if you just printed up 3,000 boxes, that's a bit tougher. But anyway, the point is, the sky's the limit on the number of uses that you can use with this. So what's the best way to hold a selfie contest? All right, I wanted my selfie contest to do 3 things. Number 1, it had to be super easy to run, and I didn't want any manual labor. Second, it had to have a viral element, meaning I wanted the ability to award winners based on people voting. Okay, why? Because, look, I know people are greedy. What are they going to do? They're going to post something on Facebook. Hey, guys, here's my selfie. Please vote on this so I can win the prize, right? So they are incentivized, without me even having to say so, to virally share our contest on Facebook. And in list building, I wanted also to be able to build an email list so that we could offer some sort of a coupon as a consolation prize to all those who didn't win. And in our case, we're also offering a percentage off coupon just for entering the contest. Okay. Now, good news, I found a killer app that I just actually showed you an example of that can do all this and more, and I'm really excited to show this to you. It's called Wishpond. Now, some of you have heard of this over the years. I'd heard of this for quite a while, and I just started using it because we wanted to build up our selfies as we're kind of moving more and more towards our own hosted e-commerce site. We wanted to be able to really build walls of social proof to increase our conversion rate, especially since we plan to be, driving outside traffic to our e-commerce site where trust isn't as great, frankly, as Amazon. Well, how do we proactively orchestrate that trust? Selfies, testimonial videos, testimonials in general, reviews, on and on and on. So this is one piece of that kind of trust orchestration puzzle. Well, a lot of these tools that I buy, they're very either complex or they're buggy. So far, I found Wishpond to work very easily and very successfully. In fact, they are one of the fastest growing companies in Canada for a good reason, because they have a really good product here. This is something that they kind of demonstrate on one of their training videos. I just took a screenshot of it. You can see how great it looks. It's the same kind of format. There's really only 3 areas that you need to even mess with. The logo area up here, right here. Again, 1-click upload. Optional iStock photo thing here that you can just buy, or you can literally skip this, so it just goes logo and a text. And in this text area, that's it. I mean, it literally is that simple. And there's a couple little behind the scenes stuff, but there's no coding required. It's super ultra easy. I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do this. And you're going to learn exactly how I built this in about 10-15 minutes. It did not take long at all. What took me the longest time was to think through what prizes I wanted, to think through the verbiage. Well, you already have these slides now. You don't have to worry about that. So now all you have to do is just execute. And the thing looks great, right? Okay. So follow along. Let me show you how to do this. All right. So register for Wishpond. Again, I don't earn any affiliate commission. Just go to wishpond.com. And you can sign up for free. Once you start getting leads and stuff, that's when they make you pay. But you can kind of play with this. You can try this out, I believe, for free. Dashboard looks the same. You just click on social promotion. Now wait till you see this, by the way. I'm using the photo contest, but you can do an Instagram hashtag contest, Pinterest contest, referral promotions. Make a mental note of that because I'm going to be rolling that out. And I'll show you exactly what we're doing there. I think that's going to be killer. You can do essay contest, video contest. Well, duh, no brainer, right? Especially if you're going to be wanting to generate content for your own Shopify store. I mean, imagine you fall or you find yourself to a product listing page on your e-commerce site. You have a wall of selfies, and then you have 4 totally kick-ass video testimonials about your product. I mean, that's killer. and all kinds of other fun stuff. You can just do like an Instagram photo contest. You can do a coupon, a group offer. But in this case, we're going to select the second one down, photo contest. Oh, and the most popular one is the first one, a sweepstakes. You just have to be careful advertising sweepstakes on Facebook, because people that literally have nothing better to do in their life will vote your ad with a negative like downvote. And if you get like a high negative downvote, they can disable your ability to run ads on Facebook, which again, still is not the end of the world. I mean, so you just get a second account, but it's just a hassle. So sweepstakes, people tend to be very skeptical about. So you can do sweepstakes for sure, but just kind of like with a photo contest, I would limit those to your house list. You guys know for the last year, I've been saying what? Build your own asset. Build your own assets. So you have, if you've been listening to me, retargeting lists. No brainer, right? Now those are safe ways to advertise. Those are people that have an affinity to you. All these different AWeber lists you've been building. I told you I've been pounding the tables to have your own in-house review club, so you have those lists. I've been pounding the tables about building your own list of purchasers by using package inserts and managed by stat email appending services, okay? So you have all these assets that you can easily deploy things like a selfie and a video contest to that won't get you banned from Facebook, okay? So choose photo contest, and literally you just click in these various areas. So as soon as you click that, you just see this very basic screen. I click logo, I click upload file image, and it uploads my image. Now, oftentimes you'll find that the images you upload aren't sized perfectly. It's super easy. All you do is you double click the image, what brings up this little resizing box, and I just start kind of typing in width. I don't have to type in width and height. If you just start typing in width, it'll maintain the proper dimensions automatically for the other elements. So I just kind of lowered this to 200 wide. I clicked OK. It updates it, and voila. Now I got to show you something absolutely killer. Now this logo looks amazing, right? I showed this to Wilson, who I'm sure you guys all know, Wilson Matthouse. He's one of my business partners in our Amazon business. And he goes, "Hey, is that a real company?" I go, "No." And so he thought Johnson Kitchen was a real company. Well, I found this amazing freaking service. You guys got to check this out. I wish I would have discovered this when I started my Amazon business. It's called With Oomph. With Oomph. Don't worry, I'll provide this as a resource link under the replay. But check this out. For $37, you can get a very modern, super slick looking branded logo. So let's pretend your company name is Fitness Kings. So enter a keyword. Let's do fitness. Check this out. Want to see how fast that this makes you a branded logo that you can use? Look at that. Is that not wild? I mean, I don't know if I would use any of these, but like I think this one's pretty cool. This one's pretty cool. And you can just change your keywords. So just do sports. And this is exactly what I did. I just made up a brand name, Johnson Kitchen. I mean, look at that. That looks pretty cool. So I think you guys get the point. There are some really cool things you can do with this service. So basically, you can adjust the color. Just click, just one click here. Of course, it's not working. Come on. Maybe I'm just being too impatient here. Come on. Huh. For some reason on my browser this isn't working. And I have no idea why, but it'll change the color. Oh, I think because it's one color. Let's go back. Show you this real quick here. Let's take any one here. Here's a two-color one. Watch when I click this. I don't know why it's not working right now. That's working. So I want to change the font. Let's try this one more time. Come on, come on. Oh, well. Anyway, it definitely worked in my other browser, but you can play with the color scheme. So like this would be green, it would be a different color. You can change the font type here. It's really, really cool. And they charge you a whopping $37 for a really big EPS file that you can get screen printing done, as well as I think a PNG file transparent PNG file. So really, really cool if you're on a budget or you just want to create like a sub-brand for a product. Pretty cool, right? All right. Let's keep going here. Here's that website, by the way, withoomph.com, WITHOOMPH.com, 37 freaking bucks. Okay, so I made my logo, I uploaded it, and now I wanted to change out this kind of banner image. Again, you just click in that area, and you just replace it in an exact same way. Now, I just happened to pick a image that I found an iStock photo, and I just uploaded it. And again, it was that simple. I didn't overthink this stuff. Now we click into the hot area, and this is the exact content verbiage that I used, and I showed you this earlier. I'm not going to kind of belabor the point. You're going to be able to download the slide, and you can use this for your own contest. By the way, if I forget to mention this later, I want to say it now. You can moderate all these contact. Sorry. You can moderate all of the selfie admissions that come in. And what I recommend that you do, if you see someone who is not following your instructions, you really need to delete their image and send them an email. Because if you leave their image up where they're not showing their face with your product, you're going to end up having people see what is being submitted, and they're going to be kind of submitting their hands and not their face in your selfies. And those aren't really valuable at all. I mean, we're giving a lot of valuable gifts so that we can see their face holding our product. That's the deal. So you want to send them a polite email saying, hey, we just want to let you know, thanks so much for participating in our contest. However, we had to delete your selfie because it didn't meet our terms of service. We need to see your face in the selfie along with the product. Don't be shy, please resubmit again. Here's a link to the contest, something like that. Okay, now, as I said earlier, you don't want to be the first one ever to show up at a party, especially a party where you don't know anybody. And so when you're met with a blank wall, with a blank contest wall that say no entries, it can freak people out. People don't know what to do. So there's this option on that page that says seed entries. So you can create 2 entries, and it's not so that you can award yourself the contest, far from it. It's so that you can give them guidelines for what you're looking for. So literally just before this webinar, because we just went live with one of our Wishpond selfie contest, I sent several messages to my team member, and I said, hey, can you guys upload an image, and so that people can see what they need to do? And they said, sure. One of them said, hey, I was up all night with the sick kid. I can't do it today. Is that okay? I said, that's fine. But as long as we have a couple on there, that's really all that you need. And then people kind of feel more comfortable of what you're looking for. It's just so they don't know exactly what to do until they see an actual example. So that's why you want to do that. Now, these are the 2 fake ones that I uploaded, again, only to give them a guideline, and it really shows exactly what they need to do, right? Click Next on the bottom of that screen, and now you're on to some of the options page. Now, this is the only part you might not understand. Well, that's what I'm here for. Name your photo contest. This is only something internal for you. And you guys know me, I like to be very organized with my naming convention, especially when you have a lot of stuff going on like we all do. Johnson Kitchen Selfie Contest. Pretty self-explanatory. Now, what I recommend you do is choose the option of custom Wishpond subdomain. That just means they're going to host your contest for you. It'll load up pretty quick. You won't have to mess around with FTPing anything or making what's called a CNAME. Again, if your eyes just kind of glaze over when you hear this nerd speak, then for sure you want to use the custom Wishpond subdomain option. And you literally just type into the first box what is going to be visible for people. Now, let me give you a warning. You can only have one subdomain. So in other words, let's say that you want to use Wishpond for 3 different brands. You're not going to be able to to have 3 different subdomains. So in that case, make your subdomain something generic, like amazingcontests.wishpond.com/ blah blah blah. Okay. Now, in truth, I will tell you that I actually prefer to use the CNAME option. So, like, in other words, I'm not going to show you how to do this because it's not necessary, but I personally wanted people to be able to visit our e-commerce website, blah blah blah.com /selfie contest. Because I know some people, maybe not a huge number, but some people will just go to our main domain and just kind of poke around, see what we sell. And that could result in some extra sales. Call me greedy. That's what I wanted. So in that case, it does require a bit more of a technical setup. You actually have to go to namecheap.com, and we actually created a subdomain. I think ours is like contest.blablabla.com, and we host it that way. Again, that goes outside the scope of this. If you're not technical, just do it this way. This is good enough, trust me. And most of you only have one brand, so just make your WishPond, subdomain, your brand name, and it's good enough. The real high-level intention here is to get selfies. Okay. All right. I think that's all I have to say about that slide. Now we're going to look at user entries. So require email address. Okay, what does that mean? So when somebody submits a selfie, we want to require them to enter their email address. Why? Well, for practical purposes, so that we can email them that they've won. But also for another purpose. I want to add them to an Aweber list because these are people that are probably my hyper-responsives. All right, and don't worry, I'll show you how to do this. It's very easy. For photo upload method, keep it simple. Do upload photo from computer. And I like to leave this checked off. Allow users to enter multiple times. So they can actually upload up to 3 selfies per day if they want to. I mean, what do I care? So that's just what we have our set at. I mean, I probably should have done 5 per day or 10 per day, because maybe like they're not happy with the first couple. Maybe they upload a selfie, they share it on Facebook, and they get some feedback from friends and family. Hey, you really need to make yours better because you're up against some other competition. Why don't you take another selfie and post it? Well, great. I love it. Now they can do that. Okay. Gallery settings. So this is, let me just pop out of the slide here. Gallery setting, sort entries by most votes. I did want to sort by most votes because as you get selfies coming in, the ones that will appear in order are from most votes to the least votes. Why? Because I want people to see how good some of these selfies are so that I get them to give me even better selfies. It becomes almost like a contest, right? Vote options. I like to check off or select Facebook like button and display vote buttons with email address field. And we're requiring email verification to confirm the vote. So they can vote in 2 ways. They can vote in 1 way. They have to enter their email here. Now, why? Well, because I don't want somebody, gaming the system and they have a crappy selfie and they keep voting, or they have friends and family vote umpteen times. So they got to have a little skin in the game. When they share this, their person who votes for them has to enter their email address. That way, it keeps the contest more pure. Okay? And here's that like button that you see there. All right. Oh, by the way, it says voters can cast 1 vote per entry per day. So I would love it if somebody said, hey, will you go back and vote for my selfie? Because it gets all their friends and family coming back every day, in theory, every day or several times to my domain, talking about my brand, getting active and engaged with my brand. I like that. All right, for customized message, again, these are the outbound messages that people will get when they submit a contest, or, when they submit for the contest. You want to make your from address. See, if you don't specifically customize this, they're going to use the email address that you used for signing up to WishPond. That may be something that you do not want your e-commerce your customers to have. That could be your private personal one. So use whatever public email address you want to use here and set the from name as well. Photo contest schedule. I suggest having one period that allows for voting and entry at the same time, as opposed to like doing it in 2 stages. First, where you allow everyone to enter, then you close that, and then you'll have one period where you allow people to vote. I want it all going on at the same time. I want lots of viral sharing activity and excitement. Now you want to edit what somebody is specifically going to see on Facebook when somebody shares your selfie contest. Let me just show you what I mean. So, when somebody actually submits their photo, and by the way, you can drag these photos right onto your desktop so you can use them in your Amazon listing and things like that. But see this? If they copy this, they can share their entry and share it on Facebook. They can tweet it. They can send it. Google, right? So that's pretty wild, right? So what happens when they start sharing this? Well, we want to control the message that shows up in Facebook. So click Customize SEO and Share Message Settings. You know, you can do whatever you want. You're kind of limited to the number of characters. There's a character count, but I wrote enter to win a $250 gift card from, and that should say Johnson Kitchen. Enter the selfie photo contest now, and I uploaded a specific image just for this. All right, now at the bottom of the options page, it says export leads to third-party CRM. I'm not going to set this up now. We're going to come back to this. So for now, click next, and voila, your contest has been created. It's that simple. And this is the public photo contest link that you'll give to people. You know, like in our case, we send out outbound emails to get people to participate in a selfie contest, okay? Now, if the URL here doesn't work, it's probably because you set your contest start date to sometime in the future. That's what I did. So I'm like, hey, I can't preview this link. The link's not working. I'm like, oh, wait a minute. That's because I set my contest start date for like a week from now. Duh. So I just had to go back in. I clicked this edit button right here, and I changed the start date to yesterday. I backdated it just so I could kind of preview it. Just don't forget to go back in and set the correct date once you're done kind of playing and previewing your contest. All right. So now we need to make a new Aweber list that people will join when they enter the contest. Why? Well, because I want to sell them cool stuff even if they don't win the contest. Secondarily, I know that these are probably my hyper-responsive. These are people that I can lean on in the future for probably video testimonials or for other social activity if I need their help doing something, okay? So step 1, go to Aweber, make a new list. I named ours something like blah, 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 selfie contest. Make an email that goes out immediately when somebody enters the contest. So what I mean is this. So somebody goes to our contest. They enter their email here. Automatically, they're sent something from Aweber. Okay? Now, bad news is when you're using Aweber and most services, it will, and when they're getting a lead imported, this is essentially what's happening, import into the Aweber system. They force you to use their double opt-in system. It's not as cataclysmic as it sounds because they have an incentive in this case to verify their email. It does suck. There's no way to turn that off. Yes, I know there's a way to turn it off when you have an embedded opt-in, but there's no way to turn it off when you're quote-unquote importing from another platform into Aweber. Don't worry. I'm going to show you the sample email and all that kind of stuff in a second here. So this is the verification email that we send. It says response required, and we insert our brand. Hi, thanks for entering our blah, blah, blah selfie contest. To complete your entry and so that we can notify the winners, you must verify your email by clicking the link below. The way I worded the forced Aweber double opt-in email, the way I've worded that is to make it sound like they're not actually entered until they click the verification link. I think that is fine. Would I like it if they didn't have to do it? Yes. I would like it more if they didn't have to do that, but it's just nature of the beast. As soon as they click on that, they get the first email, and it looks something like this, and I'm sorry for the typos, but thanks for entering our selfie contest. Hi, thanks for entering the Johnson Kitchen Selfie Photo Contest. We are awarding a lot of gift cards, so your chances of winning something are pretty good. Make sure you show your face and are holding one of our products in the photo when you upload your selfie to qualify. Now, you might ask yourself, well, why did I put that in there? They've already uploaded a picture. Well, yeah, but remember the setting we said earlier where we allow them to upload several selfies if they want? Okay, if they messed up and they didn't realize that, I want to catch it here. They can go back and they can upload a new selfie. Remember to share your selfie on Facebook and ask them to vote for you. The selfie with the most vote wins. They can vote for your selfie here. And I give them the contest link. Interesting, right? Why do I do that? Well, we're promoting our brand. It gets people, maybe additional people, to actually buy our product and partake in the selfie contest. Why not? You know, if they want, let's say, you know, like a product like ours anyway, blah, 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 blah. Finally, is a special thanks for getting involved with our selfie contest. We wanted to give you a special 15% off coupon that you can use towards any of our Johnson Kitchen products at johnsonkitchen.com. Use coupon code SAVEBIG1212. Go here to shop. Now, we happen to be, since we're using our own Shopify store gift cards, I'm actually sending the traffic back to our Shopify store. Now, why am I doing that? Here's why. A lot of the people that are on our AWeber list have only ever bought from us through what? Through Amazon. This is a sneaky way for me to basically say, hey guys, duh, you probably never knew this, but we have our own e-commerce store. So whether they use a coupon or not, I want to get that traffic right back to our Shopify store that we're trying to really build up traffic on and make it a very successful, viable, and standalone entity all by itself. Anyway, we announced the contest winners on October 15th, which, by the way, is my birthday, and we'll be notifying winners that day. Good luck, and thanks again. Regards, Johnson Kitchen. P.S. Don't forget to get people to vote for your selfie. They can vote here. There's a lot going on here, guys. A lot going on here. Now, we now need to go back to Wish Pond. By the way, if I've called this Wish List several times, that was an old plugin that we used to use for our chiropractic business. That was a membership site plugin. So, sorry, Wish Pond. So you look at, I even say it right here, Wish List. Sorry about that. I better change this, lest people be utterly confused and buy the wrong thing. I probably said Wish List a million times. Wish Pond. Okay. We need to associate the new AWeber list to the contest. So we go back to the main dashboard and we click that edit link like you see right here. And then we just kind of go back to this option that we skipped. And when you select it, kind of a drop-down menu appears. You want to select AWeber from the drop-down menu that you see there. And then you're going to click the Connect to AWeber button. What this does is it'll say, oh, okay, you're required to log into AWeber. So you just log into AWeber. And you have to click these scary buttons that say you authorize Wish Pond to look at the data from AWeber. Is that okay? And all this kind of stuff. Just click yes, yes, yes. And this will allow you to do is this little refresh button shows up. So you click the refresh button, and this will allow Wish Pond to pull all the different lists that you have created in AWeber. And then you just choose the new list that you just created in AWeber, in our case, Johnson Kitchen Selfie Contest, and you click Next. It's that easy. They make it super, super easy. And I already showed you the double opt-in verification email that we can't avoid. All right, so that's how to do this. I mean, again, it took me longer to teach it than it will be for you to actually do it. It's so freaking user-friendly. I love WishPond and what they got going on. And again, you know, I don't have a stake in the company. I don't have an affiliate link to give you. I just like them. And you can find them at wishpond.com. Now, okay, so that's stage one, building the selfie contest. Great solution. Stage two is getting traffic to the selfie contest. How are we going to promote it? And there's some other little tweaks and nuances I want to cover. First of all, what are we giving away for prizes? I already mentioned this. I prefer to give away gift cards from our own Shopify store because I want the conversation point to be our e-commerce site and not Amazon. Okay? Plus, I can give away a $250 gift card, but it doesn't cost me anywhere near that because my wholesale cost is a fraction of the retail value of those gift cards. The third thing is it gets people thinking along the lines of, oh, I can buy gift cards. So one of the things, again, this is one of the things on my checklist, is if any of you have a Shopify store, you all need to sell gift cards on your site. It's an easy way to add SKUs, like an additional item to sell. And of course, those gift cards are redeemed on your own e-commerce site. And by the way, what happens with gift cards? Sometimes people don't redeem them. So that's like super ultra profitable. The whole gift card industry is wired to hope and pray that you literally forget to redeem your gift card, because then they have no hard cost. And yet that's, it's all profit, other than the, just the cost to actually get you the gift card. That's it. Okay. All right. We wanted lots of viral sharing of our brand. Well, Wishpond automates all this. In fact, everyone who enters is proactively encouraged on their own volition to drive referrals to our contest. I like that. So here's how we're promoting our selfie contest. We're doing it primarily, well, actually exclusively right now with email marketing. So we got the word out there by sending emails to our email appended list of customers that we got from Managed by Stats, to our in-house customer lists that we've been building from our package inserts, from closely related lead lists that we acquired through our various giveaways, ones that are on topic that would apply to those products. Why? Because we know that all three of those people, they all at some point, the overwhelming majority, own one of our products. So part of the issue is, how do they take a selfie with our product? Well, unless it's a highly consumable product that they ran out of, a good percentage of them can probably find our product somewhere in their house, and then they can partake in our selfie contest. And the last one, which will probably be your most responsive of all, will be your review tracker spreadsheet that we've been encouraging you. Those of you that are using a Review Sniper, I mean, we use that tool literally every single day in concert with Thomason. So we now have this wonderful spreadsheet of all these FameBit, YouTube kind of personalities that have done work for us, as well as lots and lots of very good and responsive Thomason bloggers and lots of top 10,000 Amazon reviewers. Well, we're going to proactively reach out to them and say, hey, you have our product. We'd love for you to partake in our selfie contest. And the benefit of that is what? Well, if you're a blogger, they know, oh man, this is going to be a laydown. I should easily be able to win this contest because I can just send out an email, or I can make a blog post. Hey guys, vote for my selfie. And guess what? All those bloggers, right? All those YouTube channel subscribers see what? Our contest. It's on our branded, or that's based on our brand. See how cool this is? See, I started out just wanting the selfies. And what this has turned into is a great way to get selfies, but also to generate engagement, social proof, and potential viral traffic and new customers and referrals that way. Okay? Because trust me, when somebody posts, hey, vote for my selfie, some of those people, maybe not a lot, but some are going to say, hey, by the way, I noticed that you're holding up a dog harness. I got a dog. I'm looking for a dog harness. What do you think about that dog harness? Oh, it's great. Buy it. So what should the email look like that announces your contest? Well, you're going to have to write that yourself. Just kidding. You guys know, come on. You guys know me better than that. I leave no stone unturned, as they say, right? So let me give you the freaking email. So here's an email, a sample email that we've sent out to promote our contest. Subject, win a $250 Johnson Kitchen gift card. Hi, I have something really cool to tell you about. Today we just launched an amazing selfie photo contest. Johnson Kitchen is giving away a ton of amazing and valuable prizes just for uploading a selfie of you holding any of our products. Go here to partake in our amazing selfie photo contest. Link. We're giving away great prizes, lots of winners. And then that's where you give your wall of, prizes. You'll be able to use the gift cards to order any of our great kitchen products at, and then you promote your Shopify site. Go here to enter into our selfie photo contest. The winners will be chosen soon, so be sure to enter today while it's fresh in your mind. Regards, Johnson Kitchen. Take a peek to see who's already entered here. Now, I know someone's thinking, but Ben, I don't have a Shopify store. But Ben, I can't make gift cards. Great. Well, just do it. Do an Amazon gift card, right? Instead of using a Shopify link, use your Amazon link, right? No big deal. You just swap one for the other, okay? We want to get reorder sales during the contest. So I already showed you the email that somebody who enters the contest, what they get. And you know, it says that basically they get 15% off coupon as a thank you for entering the contest. All right, but you have a second opportunity to do this again. When you send out the email announcing the winners, you're going to announce that everyone is a winner. Everyone's a winner, right? And you're going to tell them how everybody who entered the contest is getting a special thank you prize of 15% off coupon. Ben, you're giving them a coupon when they enter. Well, yeah, but my coupon is going to last 30 days. So odds are good that they've already redeemed that one or they completely forgot about it. So I have no problem shamelessly promoting a second coupon when I announce the prize winners. Okay? Again, this has multiple benefits. It promotes our website, it generates some sales, and it'll put a nice bow on the finale of our contest and make us look like nice guys. Okay? So use these selfies in your listings, in your Shopify store, on package inserts, in Facebook ads, and anywhere that you want to promote your brand. Okay? It's all 100% user-generated content, social proof, and that's the best darn kind. So congratulations, you just learned how to hold a selfie contest. We still have one more module, if you can believe it, but let me just take any quick questions you might have. Matthew, I just answered that question about who you should be sending this contest to, your assets, and I gave you the emails. What if you use Active Campaign or different service, email service in Aweber? They support all of the major CRMs. So, when you sign up for wishpond.com, again, I didn't pay initially when I signed up. I think they give everybody a free account. You just got to pay once you start using their services or you start getting your first contest entry or something like that. I can't remember. So you can see all of the CRMs that they support. Suvra, I already talked about that earlier at the beginning of the webinar. Bart says, what gift card app are you using? You don't need a gift card app. In fact, let me just show you something real quick here. You will see something pretty cool. Shopify automatically has gift cards built into their platform. Just go into Google and type in literally Shopify gift cards, and it shows you exactly how to do it. It's super easy with Shopify. That's why a lot of people are turning to Shopify. Somebody wants to know what Shopify is. All it is a e-commerce platform, kind of like WordPress is to bloggers. Shopify is a platform specifically made to build out e-commerce websites, and a lot of us like it and love it and use it. George says, fellow Libra. Yeah, all right. George, when is your birthday? Go ahead and type it in the chat box. You said moderate the images, yet did not check the moderate checkbox. Yes, you are quick. You are quick. Okay, so what this means is that, okay, so if you check off moderate, let me see if I can find a slide. This is a little confusing, so let me just answer this real quick here. Okay. Leave this unchecked right here. Moderate entries before they appear in public gallery, because then it becomes, okay, remember one of my criteria was it had to be automated. I don't want to have to obsessively be checking my contest constantly to approve every selfie that comes in. I want the selfies to come in. What I meant was you can still go in on the back end and moderate after they've been posted. So in other words, I don't have to pre-approve them to show up, but I can get rid of any that aren't appropriate after they've been posted. Hope that makes sense. Good quetch. Quetch? Good catch. I was going to say George is quick, but it came out as quetch. Good catch. George is quick. Quetch. Oh, boy. That's what happens when you're into a call 2.5 hours, huh? All right. I'm trying to answer questions specifically about Wishpond. Matthew says, do you need the person's permission to use their photo on your Amazon page? We actually, I don't provide, because I'm not an attorney. I decided not to provide this because it would just expose me legally, and I don't need that. But see how we have a link here? It says see full contest rules. In this case, I just had to go to google.com. But you actually want to come up with your full contest rules. I'm not going to provide those rules to you because I'm not an attorney. So you need to, on your own, study. I mean, it's super quick to do a Google search and see, kind of the standard legalese that people are using for their contest rules. And I highly recommend that you put verbiage in there that says every selfie and photo that's submitted we have the right to use for marketing purposes, not as we deem fit, not limited to, but including Amazon.com, blah, 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 our brand name, blah, 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 other websites, yada, 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 yada. Okay. And by the way, you can use Shopify to actually build that contest rule. So you don't even need to have web hosting, and you can still use this. Okay. But I'm not going to provide that to you. Sorry, guys. That would not be smart for me to do. Sean says, how do you do 2 selfie contests for 2 brands? Well, I already covered that. You would do a subdomain that would be more generic. I mean, you can run 1,000 contests in Wishpond. You're not limited to just one contest. Kathy, hey Kathy. Kathy says, loving all this. Can't wait to implement. Your best training ever, Ben. Thank you. And Ashan was truly amazing. Thank you to him too. Thanks, Kathy. Appreciate it. Okay, George's birthday, October 6th. All right, yeah. A lot of birthdays in October. I think that coincides with people getting drunk and mating around the holidays, huh? Just about 9 months later is October, right? All right. Oh, Monica says, my husband is the same day as yours, October 15th. Well, I like your husband already. Mark says, do you have a recommendation for where to buy a Shopify setup? I will mention that probably next month. I'm going to teach my first Shopify segment. We just happen to use Ezra's Shopify theme, but trust me, if you didn't buy it or you can't afford it, do not despair. There are a ton of cool Shopify themes out there. Literally starting out, you could just go with a very basic theme. I mean, it's pretty good out of the box, but I'll give you some guidelines if you're just getting started. Trevor's also a Libra, and Trevor also is October 6th. This is getting freaky, guys. Do you connect Shopify to your Amazon account and use FBA for sending out orders? Yes, I do. Yep. Steve says, great stuff. Thanks, Steven. And Steven says, I share a birthday with his wife. This is getting very freaky. Everyone's either having a birthday on October 15th or October 6th. Deborah says, you have a knack for making something sound so easy. Can't wait to try this out. Thanks, Deborah. Oh, Matthew's October 10th, October 5th. See, as soon as I say everyone's October 15th or 6th, we're getting other birthdays. Mark says, is this something you would be doing, the selfie contest he means, is this something you'd be doing ongoing or just run it for a couple months to get your selfies and turn it off? Yeah. Well, Wishpond, guys, you know me. I mean, I don't mind paying for tools, so I don't scrutinize the payment structure. I think my setting was I'm prepaying like annually because I know I'm going to use it for like video contests and other selfie contests for other brands. I'll probably play with all kinds of other features because I need content for our email newsletters that are going out to our growing list of purchasers. So, as we do those, I'll be documenting those. I believe they have a monthly payment option. I honestly have no clue. I'm sorry, I don't know that. George says, Ezra's theme is brilliant. Yeah, I agree. I like his theme a lot. I mean, it's buggy. It has some bugs in there that drive me crazy, but it is pretty full featured. Nick, October 31st, Halloween. Oh, look out for Nick, man. October 31st. Paul's is October 8th. We got some Julys, some August. All right. Wow, this is cool. Robert, I don't know the answer to that question about like if you run out of FBA stock. I'm not sure. I think you have to manually deactivate it on your Shopify site. I'm not sure though. Steve says, can you help with any advice on the impending suspension later? I missed that. Will you, Steve, will you quickly type the question now, because there's no way I'll be able to sort through all these questions that get submitted. I still have one more thing. I mean, I'm happy to cover that on the Q&A, but if you can quickly type it now, just like bottom line it for me, maybe I can knock it out right now. Let's see. All right, we'll give Steven a second to Chuck says Wishpond has a free forever option with 200 leads, 1 user, and quite a few other features. Cool. I'm sure they're trying to get you to Steve, you just wrote yes, but I need you to write your question. I have no clue what your question is. Okay, buddy? Steve Miller, if you can just do that real quick for me. Oh, here we go. He says I will. Okay. Cam, no, the BSR, I just said that in a dog wheelchair example, and maybe I wasn't clear, that's just an example only. And the BSR for that will never be high because it's such a high ticket item. You with me? But it doesn't mean you won't do very well with it. Yeah, Jonas, you do connect Shopify. Well, there is an option to connect Shopify to your Amazon account to use FBA for sending out orders, and that's exactly what we do. We are moving to a fulfillment house for other purposes. Okay. So Steve says, totally off topic, and I'll probably have to shelve this for the Q&A. Steve, make sure that you resubmit this using the Q&A submission form that we provide, because I'm doing the Q&A call Thursday. He just got a suspension notice for his Amazon account at Amazon. Just wanted to know if you can offer me some appeal advice. Well, I need to know details, right? So why are they suspending you? Just like type it in real quick. Otherwise, I'm gonna have to move on and we'll cover it. They say fake reviews. Okay. Well, I mean, oh, but not true. Huh. Well, then I would just, I've never encountered that, but it's obvious that a competitor probably said something. And I would just say that, that that's not true, that you've never faked reviews ever, that you understand that would ruin the customer experience on Amazon, and blah, 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 blah. I would just, be very professional. I would not hit the panic button. From my experience, Amazon is pretty good about being somewhat reasonable in cases like this, because they know that competitors will kind of pull that crap. But yeah, I'm sorry to hear that. I know it's like one of those bumps in a road that it is easy to freak out about. But on the other hand, and again, I don't mean to make light of this, but it could be a blessing in disguise. We were talking the other week, just before the collective meeting, we had a full day of brainstorming for our Amazon business with me and my partners, Jason and Wilson, and we said, wouldn't it be interesting if Amazon literally just kicked us off their platform? And we all were like, that could be actually pretty awesome. In fact, that might be a good mindset to have. Like, what would you do if you couldn't rely on Amazon anymore? Well, we would do this, and we would do that, and we would do this, and we would do that. Now, granted, you don't want to be kicked off Amazon. So absolutely, make appeal after appeal after appeal, be very professional, try to provide evidence, show screenshots that they're verified purchases, blah, 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 right? Stuff like that. And then just respond in a very professional way what they say back. And I would say you have a well over 90% chance of overturning. And then as a final like thing, if they're just not responsive with you, send the old Jeff@Amazon.com. That's kind of like the nuclear option that goes to several personal assistants of Jeff Bezos, and just make an appeal there and just say, listen, we're a small business, we rely on this income. These are not fake reviews. Please, can I appeal to you, Jeff? And write it to Jeff Bezos as if he's going to see it. Yeah, right. But it's going to people. And we've had to use that once when we literally were just being screwed over by Seller Central Service, and they'll call you right back. And I guarantee you'll be able to you'll resolve that. But if not, it's an interesting question, isn't it, Steve? What if all of us tomorrow were kicked off Amazon? I mean, maybe I'm weird, but I get excited about that because, if we're going to build a real big successful business, it should never be predicated on one platform. I mean, I'd start thinking, well, right out of the gate, I'd be selling stuff on eBay, right? I have all this inventory, and I'd optimize the living crap out of eBay. I'd figure out how to own and dominate on eBay. Sears.com, I would do all that kind of stuff, and on and on and on and on. And then, for sure, I would be driving all kinds of traffic to my Shopify store. And it literally gets exciting. So I'm not saying, Steve, to be Pollyanna about it. I'm just saying, theoretically, it's not the end of the world. So hopefully, that way you won't be super stressed out as you're going through the process. But anyway, I'm sorry to hear that. I don't really have any specific, Yeah, Steve says, yeah, I'm freaking out a bit. Yeah, so I would, let's see. So what Beverly says, tell Steve that they're having the same problem. Don't panic. If you can document your history in customer service and prove that the reviews aren't fake, Amazon knows this kind of thing happens all the time. It might take a couple of days or weeks, but keep moving at it every day and you'll get your suspension removed. Thank you, Beverly. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Yeah, I'm very confident you'll be able to overcome this. Very confident. Okay, so let's move on here. And if you can believe it, we still have one more segment. This one I can go through quickly. This is more of an SOP. All right. So how to evaluate your advertising results in Amazon, right? How do you evaluate your advertising results in Amazon? And what I mean is, you're running coupons, let's say for a flash sale. And let's say that you're advertising on Facebook and, hey, use coupon, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada. And let's say you're doing that for several products at several price points. And then you have YouTube coupons that you're running. And let's say you're doing a launch and you send out 4 press releases over 4 days and you do a launch discount coupon, right? And how do you know what's working? How do you know what's actually getting traction? Very few people know how to find this information out in Seller Central. Well, that's why you pay me the big bucks. I'm going to show you how to do this right now. In this module, you're going to learn how to evaluate your advertising results by looking at coupon redemptions, okay? And you're going to do this in Seller Central. Let me just show you exactly how to do this, okay? You would think that they would make this readily, available and easy to find, and it's not really. So you're going to log into Seller Central. That's step 1. Across the top nav, you're going to click Reports. And in the drop down, you're going to click Fulfillment, okay? You're going to click Fulfillment. Now, when you're on this page, see that sales section on the left nav? There's a little thing that says Show More, and it's going to bring out some hidden options there. The one we're looking for is pictured on the right screenshot. You want to click Promotion. So again, Reports, Fulfillment Report, Sales, and you want to find the link that says Promotions, okay? Now, this is kind of a quirk of all these reports. You have to request it as a download for a certain time frame. In this case, we'll do, 1 month, just as an example. And then you actually have to click Request Download. You got to wait about 10 to 15 minutes. I just keep refreshing the screen, and all of a sudden it says Download. This download button appears. Now, here's the part you're probably going to have to follow along with the slides once you download the that spreadsheet. You're going to open up Excel. You do want to use Excel for this, even though I hate Excel on a Mac, to open up the file. I had to enable, at least on the Mac, something that says enable all files, and that button is found at the bottom of the screen. You'll see it if you're on a Mac. So enable all files, and then the report's going to open. And this text import wizard pop-up, like you see in a screenshot, shows up. Leave everything as it is. Just ignore everything. Just leave it as is, and just click Finish. And once you hit Finish button, the report opens up in Excel. Now, this is the kind of like quirky part that I didn't know how to do. I'm not a spreadsheet guy, so this might be simple to some of you. It wasn't to me. Where it says description, literally, click in that with your mouse. Click in description, just like you see. So see how it puts a little blue box around description, E1, box E1, description. Click in there, and then go up to the menu and click Data and select Filter. This will enable us to filter that column. That column is where all the various coupons are hiding. So check this out. You get a box that looks like this. By default, all the different things are selected, okay? You actually want to uncheck the select all, because we're going to look for one particular coupon at a time. Or in theory, that's what you normally want to do. So let's say that we want to see how many of our 25% off YouTube coupons have been redeemed. Okay, so you find the coupon that we want to see how many times it's been redeemed, and you select only that. Okay, and then it'll filter out all the other data, and it'll show you in this instance 8 of the coupons have been used. So in other words, the spreadsheet will now display only those orders in which we have the 25% off YouTube coupon redeemed. And if you just want to be, if you have a lot of coupons, just click in the first cell, and while holding down the space bar, click all the way to the bottom. So so it'll display a cell count. So see where it says 8 of 443 records found? That's how I, like, without having to go 1, 2, 3, 4. You just click into the box. The box currently has like the blue square around it in the screenshot. You just click in the first cell and then hold down the space bar, click all the way to the bottom, and it'll just give you an on-the-fly count like that. Okay? So let me give you real world though. So you might be like, well, gosh, I would have thought we did better than 8 coupons redeemed from our YouTube video. Yeah, but it's way more than that. We found that only about 2/3 of the traffic actually redeems a coupon. So like, in other words, I could run a flash sale in Facebook for 43% off, and I could see that I have 75 redemptions of a coupon. In reality, 100 people bought though. Well, why? Well, because of the way that Amazon displays prices. It shows a price, strike through, then it says sale price. So people, at least 1/3, and this is mind-boggling to me, at least 1/3 will just assume, oh, that coupon's already been applied, let me go ahead and check out. In reality, they're checking out at full retail price and not even using the coupon. So that's what I mean by leakage and delays. First, not everyone who buys from your ad will use the coupon code. So we've observed that at least 1/3 of your buyers, even though you give them the freaking coupon code, they're still going to buy and not even use the coupon code. So coupon code redemptions are almost always underreported, just so you know. Okay, that's good information to have. Second, the number, well, not second. So easy math, I just put it here for you just in case. You want to take the number of redeemed coupons and multiply by 1.3. So if you have 100 coupon redemptions showing up in a spreadsheet, to find out how many people actually probably bought, take 100 times 1.3, so you know about 130 people actually bought from that promotion. Okay. Second, Amazon delays the posted sales until items are actually shipped. So don't run these reports too soon. Wait at least 10, 14 days, a month later after the campaign's already ended, then run a report, you'll get a more accurate indication of the number of coupons that have redeemed. You still have to multiply it by 1.3 though. All right? So that's going to do it for me, guys. I am mentally fried. I'm not going to actually take any more Q&A here. We will be doing the Q&A call on Thursday of this week. So what we're doing now, I'm sure a lot of you already noticed this because you registered for this webinar, but we were just sending you guys just too many freaking emails, and I don't know about you, but I get a lot of emails in my inbox, so I decided to tighten it up. So at the start of every month, we're just doing one email. We're providing all the dates and all the GoToWebinar registration links, okay? Including in that email is the link to submit questions for the Q&A, okay? And then we're going to be sending out an email when the webinar replay is live. Now, I've asked, well, I'm going to try to put into that email, assuming that it goes out soon enough, a reminder about Thursday's Q&A call with the link to submit a question. But if not, just refer back to the original email, and all the data, all the registration details, all that stuff is in there. Okay. All right, guys. As you guys know, we try to get these Q&As up as fast as humanly possible for you. Give us about a day, hopefully tomorrow morning, we can send you an email that everything has been posted. And until then, I will talk to you again soon. Thanks so much. See ya.